Are we live?
We
Yep.
should be.
Okay, good. It's time to debate MAGA, baby.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
And we'll be dumber by the end. But maybe if we get so lucky, we'll have made some fascist friends.
Fuck.
All right, let's call it an L. Let's do this. What do you mean don't do this? Tell me you don't watch the show without telling me you don't watch the show.
No, people don't watch it for that.
No, you don't watch it. People come to find out what the new intro song's going to be. That's this show needs two things. Either I got to do opening songs or I got to show my ass. And you've seen my ass. That's not going to sell tickets.
I feel like the audience hasn't. And then we could have really been racking in some peeps. We would have gotten great calls. We'd have gotten calls about like, why? We would have gotten calls about what is that? We would have gotten calls about, I can't hear you at all. Did you change something about yourself? You're just over here making nonsense sounds.
Wait, you can't hear me?
I can now.
I wasn't making sounds.
No, bizarre.
You thought I'm just saying, talking over you.
Yes.
Where did you get that idea?
But I saw your face moving. It's just a weird way to start the welcome to the show, everybody.
What
Hi.
is this show? Do you
welcome
know?
to the professional channel that we are here to bring you all the news that is news across the nation.
What's the name of our show? What's the name of the show we're on right now?
Calling it now.
That only took up forever. I now take back. There was a person being mean to you in the comments on one of your threads. Did you see it? When you called it your show, here's my show I'm doing tomorrow. And they said, it's Forrest, it's not your show, it's Jimmy's show. To which I responded, it's absolutely Forrest's show. And now I kind of want to take it back.
No, you can't anymore. Welcome to the great new channel, Forrest, Valkai, and Jimmy Snow and the Line, with our hit new show, Calling It Now.
Forrest, Valkai, and the Line, and I guess that guy.
And that guy. Yeah.
Bruh, if you could actually do these more often, I'd be down, though.
Yeah.
I'd put your name on the thing if you could do them like once a week. Put you on
Let me find the time.
The thing. I know. I'm just sitting here going, I was thinking about this week where I was like, man, should I fire him from Skep Talk so he does this instead? Because I just think it's more important this year, the politics side. But Skep Talk is so beloved.
The problem is, like, as funny as that is, it's actually serious how much more important the politics shows are at this moment. And it blows because it's just I don't want to do them too often. I'm just not terribly like I don't want to say I'm not interested. It's just that like that's not the focus of my that's not the forefront of my focus most of the time. And so I don't want to step out of my usual wheelhouse in ways that could potentially harm the movement. But at the end of the day, number one, most of this is it should be so like common sense, easy, that it's weird that we're having a fight over it. And there also, like, I think that the most ill-informed, uneducated person who knows what right and wrong is probably better equipped than most MAGA cultists to handle what's going on in the news cycle at any given time. So like it's a whole thing.
It's funny too though, because like I get the same thing where I'm like, man, I feel like I have to, but what if I fuck it up? And then I go and I watch the people who are, and I get some comfort by being like, well, I'm not gonna fuck it up more than these guys. I'm not going to fuck it up more than some fucking Gen Z twink crying about and Charlie's wife and kids were there and they weren't even there. That's the thing that's so fucking annoying. They weren't actually there. You didn't bother to fact check. A Republican told you, but his wife and his kids were there and you went, oh, so that's probably true. I'm not going to fuck it up more than those twinks.
There's this huge, the use of twink is hilarious. There's this creator on TikTok named Hannah Brown, who is she's very famous person. She was doing like these like restaurant like skits and everything like that. Much beloved in the community. And then she was at Charlie Kirk's memorial service. And there are some pictures of her that came out about that. And she went silent for like a week. Like everyone was like, hey, what the fuck? What are you doing? And then she comes out and she does this video. She's like, everyone's just coming for me because I was at this. It wasn't that I don't like him. I'm not a MAGA. It's just he was a husband and a father. Ugh. And I would mourn anyone's death. And that's why I drove across the country to go to this one memorial service. And then she changed her bio to be like some Bible verse about like, if they hate you, they hated me first. Yeah, whatever, that kind of thing. And now this is months and months later. Now after Renee Good was just murdered, her comment section is just full of people. So when are you going to that memorial service?
Right.
When are you going to Minnesota, dude? Where can we find you?
She was a mother.
She was a wife. She had a family. Where are you at the service?
I see, and here as soon as you popped a name down, I thought you were about to tell the story about our side can be insufferable at times. So it could be like if I went to the memorial, there'd be some sort of people who would be like, wow, Jimmy betrayed us and is at Charlie Kirk's memorial. And it's like, do you want to wait to see what the content is? Though granted, I wouldn't do that legitimately. I was watching a guy on Reddit today who, it's hard not to make fun of things people can't control when they're also a fascist. So anyway, I'll ignore the fact that he was uglier than sin. Anyway, he's walking through. Don't make fun of his voice either. Okay, Jimmy, don't make fun of his voice. That's not cool. He's walking through and he's just saying things like, I'm trying to decide if it's okay to do an impression when doing the impression will be low-key making fun of him.
Safe not to.
Yeah. But anyway, he's going through a visual of Renee Good just being like, well, as they're talking about her, well, if you don't want to get shot, don't resist ICE. God bless ICE. God, like just being a dick. And I was just like, man.
Yeah.
If I had gone to a Charlie Kirk thing, I would have just documented and then been like, here's the kinds of things they're saying, which is sometimes a thing that accidentally happens years ago. Go ahead.
I feel like I have a story. we don't have to make fun of or degrade, or what's the word I'm looking for? To make a mockery of Charlie Kirk's death. We don't have to do that because Erica Kirk is doing that every time by coming out with fucking fireworks and shit to talk about her grief over her husband. And like every one of these conventions you can get. Did you know, I learned this recently, at these fucking convention party memorials, you can take pictures in the booth that he was killed in. These fucking weird ghouls are making so much money and so much hype and so much political clout. Yes. Yeah. They're making so much money and getting so much hype and excitement out of this dude being fucking murdered, and still somehow cannot tell the difference between not liking someone and wanting them dead. Or at least the people who are in control of the hive mind that is MAGA are telling them not to know the difference, that they can continue to politicize people like Renee, who was murdered. It's just wild.
MAGA,
wild.
You can call us. I was going to say, sometimes you go to a thing to memorialize something and do a thing, and you don't realize you're about to catch some strays. Dude, on the anniversary of Columbine years ago, probably like 5-6 years ago, there was another mass shooting that week. And so I went, because I lived 15 minutes away, I went to the Columbine Memorial and set up my camera and basically just recorded a video that's like, hey, it's been however many years now. Do you know what we've done about? Nothing. In fact, we've made it worse. There's now more school shootings. This is America, blah, 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 blah. And I remember I was going to feature like shots of the memorials as I was talking. And I think I made the B-roll and I didn't put it in, because then when I went and read it, it's all shitting on atheism. I'm not even joking. Like half of the plaques are like the parents basically were because they were a bunch of Christians, basically decided because one of the kids professed something like, I don't remember if he was actually an atheist or he pretended he was a Satanist or whatever the deal was, but basically was like, I'm sorry I failed you, my child, and submitted you to this godless atheist school district. Shit like that. It was literally like, the whole thing is like, bro, you're not mourning your kid. You're shitting on atheism.
I've seen Columbine specifically used by a lot of like shitty Christian people.
Yeah.
A lot. And I've heard that one of them is that supposedly one of the kids was like going around asking people if they believe in God before he killed them or something like that.
Yeah. There's that girl who was like super gaudy. And there are people who think it's evidence that God exists because they basically thought she was a prophet. And she used to say things like, something huge is going to happen this year. And they're saying that she was predicting Columbine, but it's literally like a 14-year-old girl was saying this is going to be a big year.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's also this literally every fucking Christianity prophecy ever. This is when the Christ is coming back tomorrow every single day. But
things
like
there's
that, and then also the idea that atheism is what led to that. I think I reacted to a video a little while ago. I can't remember because they're all the fucking same, but like I'm 99% sure I react to a video at one point about that, where it's like atheism allows you to become a school shooter. And it's like that. I can't imagine having that mindset and thinking that seriously. It's just wild.
Yeah. It was dumb.
It was dumb.
Anyway, do you have a mug?
Oh, yeah.
Now that we've been talking about a tragedy, if we could go ahead and make some money off of it, if the Republicans can do it, we can too. You got 2 mugs. It's funny, you got bad.
Well, you sent me 2.
No, I didn't. I sent you a code to buy 2. So you acted surprised. I sent you a code. I was like, hey, go buy 2 15-ounces. You acted surprised, but you put in the order.
I don't think that's what happened. I think what happened is that I ordered one of them and you sent 2, but waited a week to distribute them so that I would get 2 after the contest was already done. And so that I would come in that literally an hour after the contest ended with 2 fucking mugs and look like an asshole. I think that's what happened. Yeah, you set it up this way. Because the first one, when I won the contest, you only sent me 1 mug and it was fucking broken. And you never replaced it. So like
I don't send the mugs.
I think that's what happened. You have all these mugs in your fucking garage.
Sends the mugs.
And you sent them out this way on purpose. Yes.
The contest is over, though. Mine did win, so that'll be merch. However, for the month of January, you can still buy a mug. We might do one more contest before the month's over, but linemerch.com.
Stop the steal.
My mug is a little bit different, and this isn't even the right one. This was like one of the prototypes, but it's basically this. And the real one says, "Don't play hide and seek with Jesus," because he peeks through his handholes. So MAGA Christians, anybody who wants to debate us, you can. We've got calls already. We'll get those on here on the.
Sorry, I've been waiting for 15 minutes while we talked about this.
Oh, I'm not, because we're not taking that call first, because will then turn the entire show into those calls. And that annoys me. So we're going to start with Billy in Utah. Billy in Utah, you are on the line with Jimmy and Forrest. Billy, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 57 years old.
You are 57 years old. So that means you've been eligible to vote for quite a few. Let's just go back, starting with the Obama years. Did you vote for Obama or McCain and then Obama or Romney?
I didn't vote for McCain, but I did vote for Mitt Romney.
So Romney, did you vote at all in the McCain election?
No, I didn't.
Oh, thank you for your service. And then in 2016, Hillary or Trump?
I voted for Trump.
2020, also Trump?
That is correct.
And then in 2024, also Trump?
That is correct.
All right. Well.
3 times.
Yep, 3 times. I don't care to go back all the way to the Clinton years, but I think we can see a little bit of a pattern here. Well, you got us, Billy. What you want to present here today?
Well, I believe that he's making America great again, and he's implementing the idea of peace through strength, which is, I believe, from my perspective, is the correct way to go.
I have so many questions right off the bat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
can I just like, can we just go down the list of things? Because like, there's like, I feel like to say things like that, Billy, you are either you are not paying attention at all to what's going on, or you have a fundamentally different set of morals than I do. And so I just want to start by asking you just a standard question that's been on everybody's mind since that campaign slogan first came out. When was America great?
Well, it's been great since the founding of this country, sir.
Okay, so back when we had slavery, it was great.
Yes, absolutely.
Was slavery also good?
No, slavery wasn't good, but it was up to the slaves to rebel against a tyrannical government that they're currently in, just like what George Washington did.
And there you have it, even though George Washington also was a slave owner.
Yes,
so
we can compartmentalize George Washington's legacy. Do you believe that he should be on Mount Rushmore or not?
No, I don't think Mount Rushmore should exist. It was a desecration of a beautiful natural landmark with the faces of, let's see, we got Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt. So you have two slave owners, one person who said the only good Indian is a dead Indian, and one person who said that if I could stop the Civil War without freeing a single slave, I gladly would. So not great dudes to put on a mountain. Certainly not. You shouldn't put anybody on a fucking mountain, but definitely not. But just to be clear, when I said a minute ago, you either have no idea what's going on or you have a fundamentally different set of morals. It sounds like the latter is the truth. You have a fundamentally different set of morals than me because you think that America was a great place when we treated human beings like farming equipment, and that those people should have just freed themselves rather than saying America should not have done that in the first place. That was a disgusting stain on our history that made us a bad country.
Well, sir,
hang on before
we
get off George Washington. I just wanted to ask a question following up from your the slaves should have rebelled. What was George Washington? What did George Washington's life look like prior to the Revolution? Was he basically a slave?
Was he basically a slave? No.
Yeah.
He felt that he was under tyranny.
Specifically, though, what did his life look like? Because you're saying the slaves should have rebelled, as though the slaves had access to the resources, had access to each other, as though they could community organize, as though they knew how many of them there were, as though they were taught how to read, how to communicate, how to rebel, and as though the powers that be existing against them weren't extremely far more than sufficient, and that in fact it took a revolution or a civil war of non-slaves who recognized that slavery was wrong to actually end slavery because there was no organizing force amongst slaves. I think your brain has basically been destroyed by how easy it is to community organize in the modern day, that you're sitting here thinking that the slaves even knew that there were other slaves that would want to rebel, or even knew that it was possible that better could be achieved for them, as they are raised with these ideas that they are inferior. In fact, a lot of slaves believed they were essentially farm equipment because of the indoctrination. So back to my question to you, Billy, since we're saying they should have just done what George Washington did, now you have an idea of what a slave's life looked like. What did George Washington's life look like prior to the Revolution?
Well, sir, I believe he was part of the oligarch class, if I'm not mistaken.
Was he wealthy?
Yes, I believe so. He
very
was
wealthy.
warranted. He was warranted, just like a majority of the presidents that get into office, sir. So he was warranted privilege that most of Americans' constituents weren't.
So would George Washington, in wanting to rebel against the crown, be in a completely different, actual empowered situation? Would George Washington, if instead he had been born a slave, also have risen up to be a revolutionary leader against the American government? Or was it the fact is that he and many of the other white men that we idolize as the founders of this country, all in positions to actually be able to successfully rebel, and that part of that is because they were rebelling against a government that was across the sea, and they were the ones here controlling that government. They were first the tyrants and then decided they wanted independence from Europe. Which one is actually the case?
So we can't go into hypothetical, sir. If George Washington was a slave, would he have the wherewithal and the resources and other members that fall into the same category, galvanizing and formulating a rebellion? We don't know the exact answer to that because, number one, I don't have a crystal ball or a time machine to go back.
Billy, this thing that you're trying to do to be condescending about using a hypothetical, your entire fucking position was that hypothetically slaves could have overturned their tyrannical masters. Literally, you started this thing with a hypothetical that you don't have any basis to trust. And now you're complaining about being asked to engage with a hypothetical on the basis of the information that we do know. And the answer is no. If George Washington had been born a slave, he would not have overthrown his masters.
So why isn't when did slavery end? Like what year?
In the United States or in general? Because slavery is still going on. Actually, it's still going on in the United States.
Okay, so you're talking about people that are in jail or prison, but I'm talking about
which is the caveat that is in the amendment.
Yes, I know that, but I'm talking about.
So, are you asking specifically what year did the 13th Amendment get ratified?
Yes, and
why are you asking it as a question?
If slaves,
you don't know?
Slaves are so inferior, why isn't slavery being implemented today, excluding jail and the prison system?
Wait,
no one said slaves are inferior.
What do you mean by if slaves are inferior? Slaves were taught they were inferior, but they were incapable of community organizing. And then you said, excluding this example of slavery, why isn't there slavery?
Right.
Okay, sir, that's a different form of slavery. They're not getting like
and our
severe
economy also,
such as lynching and being forced to breed. Now, we could get into
lynching
that later.
Lynching was more of an aspect of like the civil rights movements pushing back against the freed slaves. Don't get me wrong, there were slaves who you could say were lynched during the political movements, but you're getting like your years and your terms all mixed up. Billy, slavery hasn't gone away. Chattel slavery went away. And by the way, there's a lot of people who claim to be moderates in their Tinder bios who they would bring back slavery. But it's harder to do now because modern science also has shown that there is not a biological difference between white people and black people. So we now have an objective way to anybody who goes they're inferior, they want to be there, to fight back against what was previously their biblical principle.
While you're on that point, by the way, the entire concept of race as we know it today was also invented by the United States in order to justify slavery. In the first place, it took a couple hundred years for science to then disprove that whole thing. And you're also talking about biblical principles. We also had the slave Bible where Christians literally cut out every part of the Bible about redemption and freedom and all that shit and used Christianity to indoctrinate slaves, again, to believe that the creator of the universe wanted them to be slaves, which is why you can still see in places like, for example, the Declaration of Secession from Texas, where they say slavery is a Christian construct that every Christian nation should uphold. The inferiority of black people to white people is the will of God. So all of this here together, just while we're on it, just want to be very clear, is a problem for America and in no way makes us great. I can't get past this. Any country that does slavery is not a great country, and it's fucking bizarre that we disagree on that.
Okay, sir. Slavery is not a Christian concept, number one. It existed
tell that to the KKK and the Confederates, who both said that it is.
American slavery absolutely was a biblical
absolutely
in the started in the late 1800s. Okay, number two, if you were a slave, right? This hypothetically
How does he
speaking,
think that was a
since you
good
like
idea?
to bring up that type
Weird.
of format, would you live the rest of your life being beaten if you couldn't work up to par and see your children in shackles and witnessing your wife getting raped, or would you fight to the death? Which one would you rather?
So now
being
now we're
subjugated
in
for the
this
rest of your
situation.
life, or
So
willing
now
to
we're in this
fight to freedom,
situation
even though
where
it
Billy is
resulted in
literally
death?
saying that the slaves just didn't have the moral fortitude to pick up arms and fight. Listen, dude, I'm not going to have a fucking debate with somebody that no, hold on, Billy. I'm just going to put you on mute for a second because I'm not going to have a fucking debate with somebody that John Brown would have shot. I frankly, this is where the last time I was on this show with you, Jimmy, I had to say the same thing, and it sucks because you told me when you started the show, you're like, you don't understand. The crazy people we get on the line, they're low level crazy. The real people are over here, and I thought you were hyperbolic.
That is not what I said. You are lying.
You were talking about.
Last time you even said something else. I said, come over and debate fascists with us, and I have delivered.
You were saying that like the shitty people we get on the line are not as shitty as the shitty people you get on vertical platforms. And I thought you were right. But now this is the second time where I've actually had to say, hey, the caller on the line, this isn't just a misunderstanding. This is actually just a fucking piece of human filth. Like, this is a garbage person who is just genuinely a bad person. And that's weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to be more jovial than that. So I feel like you're making me into an angrier person, Jimmy Snow, is what's happening here.
I'm going to unmute him in a second. Billy, you're currently victim blaming the slaves. So why do you think it is? And by the way, you said if you were born a slave, would you? And you're wanting us to put it through the filter of our life as it is now, realizing that slavery is unjust, why it's unjust, that these people are evil. If you put me back in that period of time and I am raised a slave, not only, much like being raised in an abusive family, which both of us can speak to, slaves were indoctrinated with the same shit that white people were told about them and taught to be grateful for the shit that they got. Like the shit conditions they had. They, it could be worse. We don't beat you as much over here. We don't rape your wife. We let you have your wife. We don't want to touch your wife over here. Things, and those are the people that Republicans will bring up are like the sweet masters. Like some of their masters were very nice.
The slaves got life skills that they could use in other jobs. I also want to be clear that like, Billy, if you're rolling your eyes at what Jimmy is saying right now, saying, oh, this indoctrination is not really a big... Just consider the fact that you literally started this conversation by saying that this is a great country when it had slavery. So indoctrination and propaganda and shit like that is a real deal. And when these people are literally from birth until their miserable death being taught every day that this is the natural order of things, they can't read. They're not allowed to gather in groups and talk amongst themselves. They're not allowed to have any kind of assembly. They're not allowed to own any kind of weapons. They're not allowed to do, like, if you look the wrong way, you will be raped to death. If you're in this terrifying fucking situation, just let's all get together and just put an end to it isn't the kind of fucking option that you think it is. And the fact that you can call a country that's doing that a great country shows just how much indoctrination and propaganda is still a dangerous tool today. Also, can't stress this enough. Go fuck yourself. Just, I want to make sure that's in there too. Fuck you for what you said. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't think you're smart enough to know why you should be, though. That's the whole thing.
In the 1800s, prior to the Civil War, slavery grew from 1 million slaves to 4 million slaves. So, Billy, now that you've presented your whole thing, would you have done that now that you presented your victim blaming? I will ask very simply, very kindly, why didn't they? Billy, why didn't the slaves rise up against, why didn't they overturn their tyrannical masters? Go,
not counting all the slave
rebellion,
go ahead,
sir.
Billy, why didn't the slaves overthrow their masters?
I mean, some did. There were over 200 slave rebellions.
No. Excuse me, Billy. You don't get to try and now cherry pick. You don't get to now cherry pick, Billy.
Like,
you're now trying to say they did. They didn't. Because you're sitting here and basically saying America was great, slavery was bad, but it wouldn't have happened if the slaves had overthrown the tyrannical slavery system in the U.S. So why didn't they?
I can compartmentalize, sir. Just like people who were involved in the revolution.
Of the 10 million total people who were enslaved in the United States, including in the 1800s, it was 1 to 4 million, 10 million total. Why didn't those 10 million people overthrow the government?
Okay, so there are several factors. One has to do with psychological warfare. One has to do, another has to do with religious indoctrination to make them submissive. And another has to do with seeing examples of people being brutally beaten to keep them submissive as well. So those are the three factors. And the fourth can be like cowardice. And so
why didn't you said they were responsible to still do it?
Now,
why didn't they overcome those things? Because you seem to think that white people would have, that George Washington would have, or that you would have, because you sat there and asked, would you guys have rather watched all that happen or participated? So you seem to think maybe it's white people you think would have, I don't know. You seem to think that that felt like an option to people and that they could have community organized enough to overthrow. You said at the beginning of this call, it was their responsibility to end slavery, not the slavers.
That is correct.
Right. So now,
why? That is correct, sir, which they did. You do know that blacks were involved in every war that America has gotten into, right?
I do.
So they actually fought for freedom. They didn't beg the white man for freedom.
Billy,
you do know that, right?
Billy, you are now trying to move the goalpost.
I'm not trying to move any goalpost.
And black people did participate in the Civil War. The Civil War would not have happened and the overturning of slavery would not have happened until a sufficient number of people who had the option to own slaves would have joined this ideology that slavery is wrong. Were it just up to the slaves and they had that option, first of all, they had education. They weren't having those three factors that you put in there, preyed upon them all the time, and they actually could have community organized, yeah, it definitely would have ended sooner. And yet you are still sitting here and saying that what the white people did to American slaves in the beginning of the country did not prevent the United States from being great. And by the way, we're still not even, this is just was great before. We haven't gotten to you thinking it's great now. That America wasn't great when its founders, or was still great, even as its founders were participating in slavery, because if the slaves didn't want to be slaves, they should have turned over slavery.
Okay, sir, I can compartmentalize.
I've noticed.
About the U.S. legacy. I mean, obviously, I'm not advocating for slavery. What I'm trying to prove is that it's up to the oppressed people to pick up arms and fight for their freedom.
Quick question.
There's no MOK strategy where you just get on your knees and beg the people that's oppressing you to say, please stop, and it magically goes away.
If the slaves, first of all, you don't know anything about anything, but like if the slaves
what do you mean I don't know anything about anything? You can check through 1950.
If the slaves had, I'm going to put you on mute again if you can't shut the fuck up, Billy. If the slaves had risen up and not just overthrown slavery, but actually completely overthrown the entire United States government, would they have been right to do so?
I mean, that's subjective. I mean, to many that might be considered barbarian behavior. To others that might be considered a freedom fighter.
Sorry, Billy. He's not asking to others, to people, to who. He's asking to you, Billy, MAGA extraordinaire. Would it have been wrong if, in response to slavery, American slaves had overthrown the U.S. government?
And completely wiped it out.
To end their slavery. Yes. Afterwards, they control the government.
Yeah.
It is now...
They had every right to defend themselves. Again, I'm not advocating.
Hey, Billy, what was the question? Billy, why can't you answer the question? Are you going to answer the question, Billy? Would it have been appropriate for them? Would it have been okay if black slaves had overthrown the government? If they had the option, if they had done that, would that have been fine?
Yes, it would have been perfectly reasonable for what they have gone through.
Would it have been a good thing? Would you have been supportive of that they overthrew the government and then we have a different country now because they stopped slavery and threw out all the sick bastards that allowed slavery to happen?
So it all depends on what type of government what type of system of government they're trying to implement.
Oh, one that doesn't have slavery is what they would probably have implemented.
Would you say that if they decided to implement a slavery...
Sorry, no. Sorry, I changed my answer. If, let's say, that they overthrow the government, all right? So the slaves rise up, they overthrow the government, and they put in a new system of government, which is exactly, word for word, the exact same one that we have today. It is literally, they take the Constitution, and they just write it again. Exact same government, but they enslave white people. Is it a great country still?
Absolutely, because it's up to the white people to fight back.
And there it is. Slavery is great. It's always okay.
I didn't say slavery is great.
That was easy for Billy to say yes and act like he got a victory. Because white people, I've muted you again. You're fascists don't get to decide when they get to talk on this channel. The reason why he could say yes and absolutely, because he still lives in this fantasy Jason Bourne world where he is the main character. And if you guys tried to do that to the white people, we would have risen up.
We would have stopped it. We would have put an end to that.
And it's easy for him to do because white people haven't been enslaved in America. Certain groups of white people have been treated poorly in America, but because that isn't the history of our country, now he can say, yeah, I'm agreeing it would have still been great. So that means I'm consistent when that we are great when the black people we're treated like shit. Hey, MAGA, real quick, we're gonna let Billy present why America, what Donald Trump is doing currently that's making America great. But surely you have better than a person who is defending that slavery did not affect the reputation of America, and that it was in fact the slaves' fault. Slaves who did not have access to community organizing, did not know how many of them there were, did not have any of it, like literally it was systemically created to keep them from being able to rebel. It was their fault because they should have overthrown the government. Very Kanye when he said, that many 100 years of slavery sounds like a choice. Him and Kanye would get along super well. I bet they have similar opinions about the Jews.
I also just want to say, like, we haven't even touched on the oppression of women. We haven't touched on the oppression of LGBT people. We haven't touched on the genocide of the Native Americans. We haven't touched on anything. We're still stuck on America was fabulous while we were enslaving people. Haven't touched on any of the other horrible shit we were doing at that time. Yeah. We're still stuck here.
Yeah, and we haven't even touched the shitty racist shit he tried to say to be condescending about Dr. King, for example.
I caught that as well. He was just on his knees begging. That's all he was doing. You know, he gave one speech one time and then racism stopped. That's how it works in America.
Yeah. MAGA, surely you can do better. Let's get a better MAGA caller than Billy. 336-543-2101. 336-543-2101. All right, Billy, what specifically has Donald Trump done that is a show of leadership through strength that the U.S. is now in a stronger position for?
Well, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Well, unfortunately. Well, he's trying to manifest this idea that expanding the U.S. is a great idea.
Do you remember what question? Hey, what question did I just ask you? What question did I just ask you? Because now you're trying to speak in abstractions. What question did I just ask you?
Okay, so he's aiming to annex Greenland and Canada. How is that any different from Thomas Jefferson purchasing Louisiana and Abraham Lincoln unifying the Union? No, how is that any different, sir?
Great.
Or acquiring properties such as St. Thomas, St. Croix.
Oh yeah, no, I have an answer.
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to start by saying, this is a little Jason. I just want to start by saying, I love the fact that you use the word manifesting, because it sounds an awful lot like you'd be a fan of Manifest Destiny too. But I just maybe we can compare it to Louisiana Purchase, which was, if you'll remember, a purchase. It was a time when we purchased something instead of threatening to invade a sovereign country and go against our allies so that we start a war with people who we have been in agreement with for decades to protect each other. Very different than buying something, isn't it?
And you
might want
to fact check yourself, sir, because the first approach he wants to do is actually negotiating a price to buy.
Cool. They have already repeatedly said no. They have repeatedly said no.
Right, Billy.
So the negotiation is no.
Denmark has already said it's not for sale. Nothing can make it for sale. Then when asked whether or not military action was on the table, they said, well, we've taken nothing off the table. All options are still on the table. So let me ask you, Billy, since they've said that it's off the table, Donald Trump is basically saying, I might still militarily invade. I might just take it. What would be the repercussion regarding NATO if he were to do that?
Do you think other NATO countries are going to unify and start a hot war with the #1 superpower?
So to be clear, Billy, you're not going to answer the question. You're not going to answer the question, and then after, we're muting you again. You're not going to answer the actual question, and after whining about hypotheticals, you are going to create a hypothetical. Fine. No, you're right. Europe probably wouldn't go to war all in total, but some of them would. There would likely be violent resistance, including from the people who live in Greenland, which I assume you think should be the people to rise up, since they would be the oppressed. And the oppressed, the oppressed always have enough collective power to overthrow their oppressors, always, even against a nuclear fucking power.
And they should overthrow our government and then enslave all the white people. That's what we established earlier.
Well, Greenland's a bunch of white people, but so far, brilliant. It would also, you're saying peace through strength. NATO is an important alliance to maintaining peace. And regardless of whether or not we then went to war, you are defending peace through strength by him invading a country that doesn't want us. They don't want to be a part of America. So what you are describing is imperialism. You are describing take it. That's peace, which looks a lot like all of the not peace of the last several centuries. It's weird how your version of peace looks identical to tyranny, identical to imperialism, and the then destruction of NATO. NATO would instantly be dissolved, and we would no longer have one of the more arguable alliances that does maintain, we'll say, a higher level of peace than would exist otherwise, because NATO is itself not perfect.
No, nothing's perfect.
I have a new question for you, Billy, because I asked a caller this the other day, and they didn't give me an answer. So, Billy, I'm unmuting you now. If you wanted to kindly and politely just explain to a person that they're too stupid to vote, how would you do it?
Okay. I would say I would ask them what's the person's voting record, what policies did they try to push for during the campaign trail, and doesn't contradict with their previous voting record, whether there was in the Senate or the House or whatever previous government position that they were in. And does it contradict with what they're trying to push for? And if it's realistically possible. Now, do you understand the idea of peace?
So that definitely wouldn't work, but that's not, that's not really good. That doesn't really work. No, explain to me. No, yes, I do understand the concept of peace through strength. So please explain to me how threatening to dissolve NATO and invade a country that does not want to be a part of America would be peace through strength. And then explain to me what the opposite of peace looks like. Because to me, if I'm going, hey, these two countries are not at peace, I'm probably describing that one of them is trying to invade and take the other one. So please explain to me specifically, and slowly, because clearly I must be the dumb one between the two of us. Explain how it is peaceful to threaten military action to take a country that does not want to be part of the United States.
Okay, so you're forgetting the strength part. So let me explain, right?
Yeah.
After the imperialist ambition has succeeded, right? That's through strength. Greenland would be forced to assimilate to American culture, which brings peace because they're part of the U.S. now.
Oh.
Billy.
You mean, okay, so just to be clear, you're talking about
strength.
You're talking about like if we were to go, just to be clear, Billy, you're talking about like we have this country over here that doesn't want anything to do with us. We go over there and through imperialism, we plant ourselves in there anyway and take what we want, and then they are forced to assimilate, and that is the greatness of America, right? Right. That's fucking slavery and colonization that you just described, by the way. That's slavery and colonization. That's what you just described is the shit that I was saying was a disgusting stain on America earlier that you said the slaves should have risen up and overthrown it. So glad to hear that you don't give a fuck about humanity unless it's something is benefiting you. That's how it always is with you fucking people.
So, Billy, you agree then that Hitler was seeking peace. Hang on, stop, Billy. You agree that Hitler was seeking peace through strength, correct? Because you just described his plan. Hitler was going to invade, take over places, and anyone that is incapable of assimilation was ejected from society, right? So you believe that Hitler sought peace through strength, right?
I don't believe that Hitler sought peace through strength because I'm not a Nazi. If I was,
no, Billy, first of all,
would be shocked. No. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Billy, what about what you described was peace through strength was antithetical to Hitler's approach?
Okay. Like, hear me out. If I belonged in the Nazi regime, I would absolutely believe that what Hitler is doing is peace through strength.
Yeah.
No,
describe the difference between what you just described and that. Describe the difference between his stuff and what you just described. Tell us the difference.
He just said the difference is he doesn't believe in Nazism. He thinks you are a Nazi.
Yeah, he thinks.
How am I a Nazi, sir?
Because you want to imperialistically take over the world and hey, let me ask you this question, Billy. Let's say we take over Greenland and the people there and the people in America already here who are refusing to assimilate continue to refuse to assimilate. What is the remedy for their refusal to assimilate?
Well, of course, there's going to be a short duration of time where there's going to be hostility towards America. Like
what is excuse me, my question was,
but when
you are not answering my question, Billy. My question was, let's just have person A is a black guy from Greenland. I know it's shocking because there's not a lot of them, but it's a black guy from Greenland.
There's some.
He refuses to assimilate. What is the remedy for his non-assimilation?
I mean, there is no remedy. He is going to be considered as American property. So I'm not exactly
sure. Property is a hell of a word for that particular sentence.
He's going to be considered American property. Are you
black people already were American property at one point? Just to be clear, and that's what we started this conversation about.
We're talking about Greenland. We were talking about the man. You just said he is going to be American property. Billy, are you American property?
No, I did not say that.
You literally said the phrase, he is going to be American property. You said
Greenland is going to be American property.
Great. So now let's get then back to the question, since either you're lying or you're admitting you weren't trying to answer my question. His name is
How can you not tell the difference, sir?
His name is Hank. Whether you're a liar or you didn't understand.
Okay.
Stupidity and lies often look the same. And in your case, I think you're managing both.
Resistance. There might be
Billy,
possibility of
resistance to assimilation specifically. What happens to Hank? What happens to Hank when he resists specifically assimilation?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question again?
What happens to Hank when he resists assimilation?
I mean, it all depends on his actions.
He refuses to participate.
He can voice his discontent through a peaceful protest, or he can decide to be violent, and there's going to be serious consequences that follow that. So it all depends
what serious consequences.
So in your world, the right thing for him to do, if it's unjust, is get enough people to violently overthrow the U.S., and then he'll have started a great country, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
MAGA, this is your best.
Do you think is real?
He's not.
Do you
this
think
dude
it's
is just
realistically possible?
This dude is just literally presenting Nazism, but saying, yeah, but the American version of it is better.
Which, by the way,
the population
Nazism was the German version of the American version in the first place, so it kind of comes full circle.
When MAGA sends their debaters, they're not sending their best. They're rapists. They're slavery defenders, and some of them, I don't assume, but maybe somewhere, are good people. Jesus fucking Christ!
I can't. It went from
Billy,
being annoying to funny back to annoying and back
Billy,
to funny
why did
again.
Donald Trump obstruct the Epstein files from being
30 million American constituents? Does that even make any sense, sir?
Yeah, you're a fucking Nazi. Hey, Billy, why are you okay with the way? Are you okay, Billy? Are you okay with the way that Donald Trump obstructed the release of the Epstein files?
Okay, so
I just want to see if on top of everything else you also defend pedophilia.
No. It's very disturbing on how the how it's actually going down and not releasing all the files. But
like he was legally required to do.
And before that, Billy, let's get the full picture, not just not releasing all the files, but spending. No, you can in a minute. I don't let fascists talk in their own pace. I decide a fascist pace. Enjoy the authoritarianism. Oh, buddy, yes, you are. Okay,
you have no idea what those words mean.
By the way,
you just are.
Yes, I do.
I'm not a fascist. I'm just a right-winger who believes in repercussions for people who don't assimilate and forcing our way of life on other people. Some kind of ultra-nationalist, authoritarian, imperial type of system, but not fascism.
I didn't say it was morally correct. I'm looking at it from a geopolitical competition point of view.
This would be a great idea on the surface, as long as it's American immorality. That's the key. Yeah,
because it benefits American.
Yes, hang on. I'm muting him because I'm also going to once again point out his lie. Whether or not he's going to say great doesn't mean moral or immoral, whatever. Billy's initial assertion was Donald Trump is making America great by demonstrating peace through strength, which will include. So whether or not he thinks it's moral, Billy thinks that it is great to be an imperialist, to go and take countries, then force your national identity on them. This would be ultra-nationalism, and make them live. So imperialism, ultra-nationalism, authoritarianism, because you are forcing it on them. He literally called them property a moment ago. Now he's trying to switch to saying he meant Greenland, but he said he would be property. So I'm sorry I called you a fascist. You're only saying that imperialistic, ultra-nationalist, authoritarianism is great. I don't even care that we don't have another MAGA person on the air. I'm not continuing with this fucking Nazi. Bye, bitch. Billy, you're a Nazi.
He's got a Mensa meeting to get to anyway. We can't hold him here on the call for too long. I mean, God.
Right. Remember when I asked him how he would tell somebody they're too stupid to vote, and then he talked for like 2 minutes about
weird shit?
Man.
You understand their voting record?
I'm just... It's wild. What is it? What's our number? 336-543-2101. 336-543-2101. You can call in right now and we can have a little chat about person's clearly a troll. About your beliefs.
The people who like get pissy on threads and everything, like quit calling every Republican Nazi. All the MAGAs aren't Nazi. Quit calling us Nazis. You just throw around Nazi for everybody you don't like. So here we have a guy who is ultra nationalist and imperialist who wants to overtake other countries and force their people to assimilate on pain of death. And thinks that slavery doesn't do anything to mar the reputation of this war. We didn't even get into the genocide, into the oppression of other groups. Well, none of that. Yeah. But just like, it's okay. We just have to go. And also, what's currently happening right now, the concentration camps, going around and rounding people up based on their skin color and accents, shit like that. It's actually making America better. And then you're going to say, don't call us Nazis. I'm not a Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. That's what it is. You're not smart enough to know what Nazi means. In your head, you still just think Nazi equals bad guy. And you're not a bad guy. So you can't be a Nazi. But yeah, you're a fucking Nazi. That is what you fucking stand for, is that exact same kind of evil fucking shit.
Dude, and I do not see how I'm a Nazi.
It is. It's crazy. Because I guarantee if Donald Trump came out and said verbatim, word for word, one of Hitler's fucking speeches, this fucking dumb cunt would have been all over it. And I know that's true because there's a fucking trend of that shit on TikTok of all these fucking MAGA people going like, so I listened to this in English for the first time. I think we've been lied to, guys. They're literally fucking Nazi, because he says the exact same shit that Trump says, that these immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, that we need to defend our national security and expand our homeland and all this fucking shit. All this same shit, exactly word for word what's being said right now. And idiots like that guy sign up for it. And they don't know the difference between these words. They don't know what a fucking fascist is. They just are one. They don't know what a Nazi is. They just are one.
Dude, my favorite are the people who are still, it's been explained to them a million times, well, the Nazis were socialist. If you are dumb enough to think that, we're waiting for your calls. Calls are being screened right now, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. By the way, somebody pointed out, you said Mensa. He has to get off to a Mensa meeting, but you might have meant NAMBLA. He's off to his NAMBLA meeting. Would not be surprising. I think I'm just going to say to Luthien, that call is almost certainly just get to the
Shout out to the person in chat who said it's something along the lines of, I shouldn't call him a cunt because he lacks warmth and depth. That's very funny. Like that.
Yeah. That call is probably a troll.
You're talking about number 5 there?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost certainly. I'd be down to fuck with it, but it's up to you.
I think she already figured it out because she seems to have dropped it, but we got to get the other one screened before we bring them on.
Okay. We have 2 people waiting.
All right. Yeah, everything's just fucking shit. And then the way now ICE feels empowered also by it used to be like, if some shit like that happened, then it would be like, oh, we'll let the investigation play out, whatever. But now it's ICE feeling empowered to go out and stop people in vehicles and say, if you keep following us, you're going to make a mistake you're going to regret. Or kicking over memorials, going over and literally like ICE going and trying to agitate protesters. By the way, sometimes like bumping. It's funny. I was watching one of these guys and they were trying to move through the crowd and they kept bumping into people. And my understanding is that if you so much as have the potential of bumping into a person, you're allowed to put 3 bullets in a person's face. So
that's what I'm hearing. That's apparently what the law is now.
That's my understanding now.
It is crazy, because I saw that video as well where the people out filming and the ICE agent gets right up on and says, did you not learn from the last few days? You're going to make a mistake. And then he snatches the phone out of somebody's hand, which again is assault and battery. You are allowed to film federal agents. You are allowed to film the police. He's just attacking this person because he walked up to them and then was upset that their phone was in his face when he put his face in front of their phone. And there's another video that's going around right now. It's being shared a lot. I haven't seen a primary source for it, so I haven't been sharing it myself, but I don't know if you've seen it, where the ACE agents, they have the paintball gun looking pepper ball things, and he actually lowers it to point a gun in a safety marshal's face, somebody wearing like a bright vest, to put his firearm in their face, and then quickly puts it away pretty quickly afterwards. But like, and that was apparently a safety marshal at that rally to keep people safe in the first place. And not to mention also, this isn't the first time that they've killed somebody. They've killed several of other people, not just the people who have died in the fucking camps. We're also talking about like people who have died in their direct charge or have been shot. One of them, they said that the person drove into them and dragged them and that they barely survived, despite the fact that the body camera came out later on showing they were totally fine and the person was trying to back up and get away from them. And the officer even said, I'm not hurt, I'm fine. Then there was that other woman as well who same thing. They claimed that she had a gun. She was waving this gun at them and they had to defend themselves. And then the body camera footage came out and none of that fucking happened. They're just killing people. and lying about it. And as far as this situation with Renee Good,
to the lies now is getting crazy.
Yes, as far as the situation with Renee Good, make no fucking mistake. He did not kill her because he was afraid. He killed her because she was not afraid. You can watch that body camera footage from him. He has his camera in his right hand. He's walking with his phone in his right hand. You can see his reflection in the window. He has it in his right hand. And he's walking around the car. And she's saying, I'm not mad. It's okay, whatever. And then her wife walks up and starts insulting him and saying, go get yourself a sandwich, big boy, and says a bunch of shit. And then he switches his phone, walks in front of the car, and then murders somebody and then says, fucking bitch. Yeah. You don't say that in a life-threatening situation. You say that because you wanted to kill a woman who stood up to you. That man is a fucking vile piece of trash. And people what you just saw is the mentality of that fucking department, especially considering the fact that he has been a veteran for a long time. He apparently was in the military. He's been in this division for a long time. He is trained. He is experienced. He knows how to handle a stressful situation, even a potentially life-threatening one. He did that on purpose.
He already violated the
second his face was
months
covered.
ago.
Yeah, no, of course. But I'm saying the second his face was covered, he got the fucking balls suddenly to go murder a civilian who knows what he's already done on the other side of the world.
Yeah. Guys, people like to point out too, like they've posted a photo of him and a brown woman. I have no idea if it's real or if it's but the first of all, just say he's married to a legal immigrant, so he's not racist. First of all, brown doesn't mean immigrant. Like, it doesn't automatically mean immigrant anymore. I mean, then I'm also an immigrant. My mother wasn't born in this country. You have no idea a person's immigration status based on the color of a person's skin. So unless you're just going with but we're all immigrants eventually, which obviously they're not. We know that that's dumb.
Yeah, that's not what they're doing. Not the white ones.
That's not true. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself looking at the screening.
Me too.
Shit, what was I? Oh, but then second of all, I responded to it the way, because I am myself. And I've just been writing on those posts now. Do you think he calls her a fucking bitch after he hits him 3 times in the face?
I mean, I'm just saying, 40% of cops and all that.
I was wondering.
By the way, to the person in chat who said, I can't even see where it was. Somebody in chat said something along the lines of, "Are you blind? She ran him over. Call in."
Yeah, no, she didn't.
Let's talk about it.
Let's
talk about it.
Let's talk about UJ, who is pretending to be on the left this time, I think. Or apparently is a leftist who doesn't believe in evolution. Unless I'm forgetting, and that the question was, but last time called in questioning evolution. UJ in South Dakota, you are on the line with Jimmy and Forrest. UJ, did you who'd you vote for last election?
Kamala Harris.
Okay. And what about before that?
Joe Biden.
You're gonna need to speak up.
Her name is Kamala, by the way, just to throw that out there, but whatever.
Yeah, so 2024 I voted for Kamala Harris, 2020 I voted for Joe Biden.
Okay. And
her name remains Kamala.
Yeah.
Yes, Kamala. So I've actually called in before on both your shows to talk about evolution.
Last time you called in to question if evolution's real.
No, but I agreed with evolution that it's real. I just wanted to get more information on where to look for it last time. That was Got it. Yeah, the way it was in the notes just was, how do you know evolution is real? That's fine. Okay, UJ, it says here in the notes that you said that Jimmy said we need to be more empathetic. I'm curious to what you are specifically referring, because empathy is important. Empathy is absolutely important, especially in considering the position of people who are less fortunate than you and less privileged than you. It is also important for certain conversations and approach when trying to get through to people who are still winnable. But I have not described the political strategy of the left, that it necessarily needs to be more empathetic. I am often calling out that the problem with the people on the right is they do not have empathy. Oh, okay.
So what are you referring to?
Sorry, I don't mean to mischaracterize you. Then I just probably misunderstood. But what I'm trying to get at is I think that the left kind of needs to be a little bit more ruthless in terms of how we go about power. Like, for example, when like conservatives get in, they wield it with like an iron fist, and not in terms of like we shouldn't violate the laws, but like in terms of like violating the norms, like holding our side accountable, being ruthless in terms of how we primary people, like protecting marginalized groups, whether it's their minorities or transgenders or people who are gay. I think we just need to be a little bit more. It's gonna sound weird, but like we kind of like need like a left wing version of Trump, but it's actually like empathetic and caring and loving instead of being like outright fascistic.
But saying a left wing version of Trump, what you're trying to describe is an approach. And that's what Gavin Newsom is trying to pull off. And he's going to end up still just being a status quo liberal when he probably will be the president next time. Ruthlessness as far as like not backing down from messaging, not, yes, obviously, like Kamala Harris, part of why she lost was because she tried to make the line between her and Trump look smaller, closer and closer, and tried to appeal to moderates instead of trying to appeal to people. She went after just a political assessment and what the affiliation next to a people's name is, instead of going like, hey, but you know what, fuckers, you guys wish you had healthcare and you don't. So let's get you healthcare. Like, let's do it. Let's stop this bullshit. You guys are struggling. Donald Trump doesn't care. Biden did not do enough. But anyway, so it doesn't seem like you have a point of contention, just that you thought I at some point was describing that we need a softer approach. And I think my threads, if you find me on threads, I don't think you're going to find that, or this channel. In what world have I tried to model that I think we need to be softer on fascists?
Okay, well, then I guess I just kind of misunderstood, but I want to make it very clear. I do not support Gavin Newsom at all. I think that he's a neoliberal corporatist. I don't think that he's the right person for the job. I think I'd much prefer like someone like a Ro Khanna or an AOC, but given I think this country's a little too racist, I don't think that they would. Yes,
the DNC is not going to take a shot. The DNC is not going to take a shot this time around on a brown person, most likely. Well, there's a chance a brown person if they're a man and they have that charming articulation that Obama had. There's very little chance they will take a shot on a woman this time, and there is slightly more chance a person of color. There is 0% chance Kamala Harris will get it or any other woman of color. So you are quite right that they're not going to run AOC. And they will do everything. If AOC tries to run and primary and beat Gavin Newsom or whoever they decide is the person at that time, they will do everything to take the steam out of their engine.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to hold you guys up. I actually have a question for you and Forrest. So I myself, like I classify myself more like a democratic socialist, but I think the closer America will ever get is like social democracy. I don't really think America is culturally ready to go down that route, especially with the propaganda that we've been dealing with for the past 50 years of like Cold War, anti-communist scare tactics. So do you think that that's the most viable option for the country, or are you actually relatively hopeful that we could get to like a democratic socialist society or policies that are much more aligned with the democratic socialist society?
Right now, the resistance of the rise of fascism is the number one thing. Then at what pace you do the remainder is up for debate, I suppose. Luthien, just block that caller. I'm
dying over that caller too.
No, it's just a person being loud and stupid.
I know. We'll talk about it later. I'm so jealous of the call screen. Not rewarding their behavior.
So I don't know. I don't know that. Here's my deal. You're asking me like, if we have the opportunity, will we get there? Right now, I'm so focused on if we even have the opportunity, because at the moment, that's not looking great. As I've said, now too many times, and I'm going to keep saying until people catch up. I think that if Twitter had existed when Hitler was doing his thing, we'd be living in the post-Nazi. So not post-Nazi. We'd be living in I think Hitler would have won if social media, especially Twitter, had existed back then. It's hard to imagine how effective. There are people in this country who are arguing whether or not Putin is a bad guy. You would have just seen that with Hitler back then. And now you would have also helped people community organize who were just full on Nazis back then. Like the number of Nazis that were willing to go to Madison Square Garden was still troubling back then. But the amount of work that would have been done by Fox News and Newsmax and shit to make it more acceptable to be there, it would have absolutely, so right now the whole thing is resisting fascism. Okay. And I don't know that we win. That I suspect I will die fighting fascism, hopefully of old age, but feels the odds aren't looking great.
Okay. Well, I guess like my final question is, so I'm currently 24. Is there like any advice you guys would have for like a 24-year-old who wants to be much more involved? Like I live in a pretty like deep red state. I'm trying to be more empathetic to like people around me. I'm trying to like be much more activist in my approach to things. I'm just trying to like live my values as like a leftist, but I feel like it's hard for me sometimes to like reach out to people because they look at me as like some sort of like crazy, Joseph Stalin loving type of guy, but I'm just trying to do better. So is there any advice you can give me in terms of how I can change my approach or just, go about talking to people?
I'd join a campaign. I'd find, if I was in your position, able-bodied, able to canvas and stuff, I would find even a campaign that you don't expect to win because things change. And so while you might not win this time around, first of all, going with a campaign that you absolutely can stand behind, or at least mostly behind, or are more compatible with, will help you build connections to people who you may be able to then work on a campaign that's even better the next time. And as the Overton window moves, the next time you might have a better shot. So I would say join a campaign. Especially, it's a primary year. Go and canvas for people, go to their local office, go, whether it's like a Congress seat or a Senate seat, go join a campaign.
Okay. Well, yeah, I want to thank you guys so much. I've been watching your show for like the past year now. You guys really helped a lot in terms of my deconstruction from right wing way of thinking, and I think you guys are doing an amazing job. So keep it up. Cool. You guys are awesome.
All right, thanks, UJ.
Yeah. All right.
Something tells me that the person who is now calling from Ireland is just the same guy as before, trying to get on. Hey, MAGA, we want to debate you. There are people in chat saying they're MAGA willing to debate us.
We had this person call in like 5 or 6 times, and our call screener had to block them every single time. And they're trying, but I was like, I'm curious at this because it was all about God has a message and all this stuff. And at a certain point, I'm curious.
It's just a troll.
Of course it isn't, but I put in the chat and the producer chat, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, he called her the Lorax. He was being really rude and said she was like the Lorax, and that has been killing me.
I feel we're already rewarding him with too much attention. Next time, just ask, and I'll send you the recordings of the screenings. Because
do that, do that.
Yeah, I can do that. We record all the screening things. The guy's obviously just crazy.
Yeah, we get those.
The phone number is 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. We're looking to talk to people who want to debate us on nationalism, Christian nationalism, Christianity, MAGA. Who can call in and actually defend that Donald Trump is a good president? I think he's horrible. All these people in live chat who are allegedly so brave saying that it's very clear cut. And this is the funniest thing to me, them pretending it's clear, that the shoot is clear. In fact, the only clear angle is the one where it looks the most in resolution is the one that hurts their narrative the most. And so pretending it's clear that, and it's to be so clear myself, even if he had gotten bumped by her, which I don't think he did, even if he had been bumped by her, I would say he was already there, breaking policy for that reason, and he definitely shot after he was clear of the car.
That's the biggest thing. Even if you want to pretend like a bullet hole in the very fucking edge of the windshield there somehow means that he's fucking Flex Armstrong and he's reaching around the car, like whatever. The other two shots were through the driver's window.
Right.
That he 2 out of 3, 66% of his violence was when he was well out of the way. So just remember, Renee Good wasn't killed by an ICE. We're not saying it's not Renee Good was killed by an ICE officer killed Renee Good. It was an active thing on his part. She wasn't active in being killed. He actively fucking killed her and went out of his way to do it.
Yes. Yep. It was his intention. He was looking for a reason and he felt he got a reason. And if you disagree with us on that, on defending all the things that leftists would defend, socialism, trans people, evolution. We're not doing evolution education calls, but we'd take an evolution debate call, and Forrest won't be allowed to talk on that.
Hey, I would do so good. I'm getting succinct. I'm getting good at succinct
on the evolution ones.
Yeah, I can do an evolution call where I can talk about evolution for only 25 minutes. I bet. Short.
Yeah, I bet. So that phone number is 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. I don't have much interest in this call, but we'll take it briefly. Pogo is calling in. Pogo, do you have a question for us or a point of debate? Because it seems like you're wanting to call in to opine. It seems like you're wanting to, and we don't do open mic here. So if you have a question for us or a point of debate, we can absolutely do that. But we don't let people just open mic, like share their shit.
Yeah, well, that wasn't an open mic thing. I think you might actually disagree with me on that. I think that countries in Europe, or a lot of countries in Europe, have a very different approach to the free speech thing. And like seeing how the whole Renee Good thing has been handled by very public people on the right in America, like basically lying in public. I think that that's not free speech. And that absolutism thing that's going on in the U.S. is a problem, and that should be curbed in some way.
No, yes, you're right. We do disagree. That is free speech. Free speech does include the right to lie, and you cannot besmirch the reputation. It's like a legal standard we have because everything would get too crazy if you didn't. You also can't defame a dead person. You can say anything about. I mean, Charlie Kirk's people would try to come out and that now that you're trying to defame their company, which still holds his name or whatever. But let's be so clear. Charlie Kirk was not able to orgasm without a gun in his mouth and hazelnut butter on his nipples. An empty gun, for the record. Anyway, that's you're allowed to lie about people. Freedom of speech should include, first of all, when you're calling it a lie, you would have to demonstrate that they know that they are lying, or that they are wrong. So there is no good method to say freedom of speech doesn't include lying. Obviously, free speech absolutism is something that probably goes too far. Not probably, does go too far, where it's all speech is fine, because that would then mean like threats. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to, or types of harassment and shit wouldn't be. And so free speech absolutists are also wrong. But you saying that if somebody lies about why Renee died, they should go to prison, or what?
So as an example, there's a lot of countries in Europe where denying the Holocaust is illegal.
Yes. Which, by the way, I don't agree with that specifically. I think it is gross and disgusting, but I don't dictate my morality legally. The closer you are to Germany, I see why the stakes are higher. Obviously, out here, there's a problem, but no, I don't believe it should be illegal to. That isn't freedom of speech, denying the Holocaust.
Well, I actually did grow up in Germany, and so I have a very different approach to specifically that type of thing. And I completely understand why someone would go and say, you can't say that, sorry.
Because I'm fine with it being illegal for the government to implement that because we have met such a standard of proof. But no, I don't believe in denying individuals' ability to believe something. You're basically talking about thought crime and then the expression of your thoughts. And
the biggest thing that I think, Pogo, that just to like summarize the sentiment, at least for us over here, is this: like, if you are going to say any kind of thing is illegal to say, then you also necessarily need to decide who do you trust to determine what comes out of your mouth besides you. So what person do you specifically think is equipped and good and righteous enough to tell you what you are not allowed to say? And then also you need a bunch of them, and they're mostly unelected officials, and there's bureaucracy involved, and corporations involved, and lobbying, and money is involved. And just like the more you think about it, the less tenable and the less realistic and the less desirable it becomes. I don't trust a single fucking person to give me those limitations, and I certainly wouldn't trust a government to do it. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. I see that there is a problem on how to make these kinds of decisions. I fully agree with that. It's just, so what about like incendiary language, inciting violence, actively asking?
Sure.
That is
that's what Jimmy brought up earlier on. Yeah. If I tell you I am going to kill you, you don't need to wait for me to kill you to seek justice, right? You should be able to say, all right, this is now a credible threat to my life. There's that old adage of fire in a crowded theater, which fuck that whole thing, but whatever. Like, yeah, if you're using this speech to put people in harm's way, yes. And
many of those things don't actually get you tried. Like threatening to kill somebody in a lot of states is just the basis for like a restraining order.
Precisely. And what I'm trying to get at too is like there are some people that you can then stretch that to say, well, if I were to say, that the Holocaust didn't happen, then I am inciting people to potentially want to do it again, or I'm whipping people into this frenzy where we could go down that road. And you get this kind of like very slippery slope argument out of that. And I see where that's coming from. But as Jimmy was just pointing out, the options aren't like complete restriction or not. You can just say, okay, this is so socially unacceptable, it's going to be a major problem, or we can now look into criminal ways to stop this. We can talk about fines. There's a million other things you could do besides actually outlawing certain words.
Okay, Pogo?
Yeah. I'm still there. It's more like it's a problem I've been mulling over for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
For example, when you have a news anchor actively saying, "Oh, homeless people should be killed," I think that is inciting violence.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that he should suffer consequences from his job, but not from the government. Is what I'm saying. And so, and I appreciate you thinking this through. When you find an easy, clear-cut answer for this, call in and let me know. I don't think there is one.
But even that would have been, not the job consequences, yes, should have happened. But even that, the way he is phrasing it, you don't actually have a good basis to say then there should have been criminal or legal repercussions, because essentially his argument was, I believe it should be legal for the government to euthanize the homeless. And so he can stay behind the defense of, I wasn't asking anybody to go kill people. Christians can also in America say, I believe the government should remedy queerness the way that the Bible says. Charlie Kirk called it the Bible's perfect remedy for love, God's remedy to homosexuality because of his perfect vision of love, or however he put it. Basically endorsing that the perfect love guy said kill him. And you can do that. And that's it's sad and it's gross, and we should have social repercussions, but freedom of speech is very important for us also. It is for those of us who want to, as soon as you start restricting the definitions of freedom of speech beyond what is reasonable to basically any normal human being, and you start to make it a little bit more ideologically bent in one direction or another, the tyrants come and they get to use that precedent. And so I don't want to make it illegal for Holocaust denial to exist, because I also don't want Donald Trump to be able to make it illegal to say that January 6th was an insurrection, for example. And that is the very thing that happens. It is time and time again that pattern is followed by tyrants. We see them doing it now. In America, the Republicans whined about executive orders and overreaching, and this is too bullshit, this is tyrannical, and now they use that as their defense as Donald Trump has become an executive order tyrant himself. You use the language of your enemies and you accuse your enemies of that which you are guilty of. It is the old-fashioned fascist playbook. We're going to leave it there, I almost said fascist. We're going to leave it there, Pogo.
So, just to be clear, it's a common misconception that the German Constitution doesn't have freedom of speech. It does. It's just phrased slightly differently. It's the freedom to express your opinion. And then there's a discussion to be had at what point opinions stop, because opinions need to be kind of based in facts. So I'm like, I don't have a clear-cut opinion on that. I'm just mulling this over right now because things are getting very, very odd, even over here.
There is no mandate, and the government shouldn't mandate that opinions must be based in facts, despite the fact that that's the way I want to live my life.
Right. Can't mandate it, but should try it.
And the moment that you're saying you can only express opinions that the government has agreed are facts is the moment that you have to worry the most about a tyrant getting into office, because then he will decide what the facts are. Our president has a company, has a social media, despite being the president with the most documented number of lies and rate of lying. His social media is literally called Truth Social. He has actually bastardized the word truth. And I absolutely would not empower that person in any way.
Yeah, that is the post-truth timeline we live in. Yeah, as I said, I'm not completely clear on what my idea of that whole thing is. I just, particularly
Forrest, you should go post
what
on
is
Threads.
happening right now with people with massive platforms lying about the whole shooting. And
unfortunately, there's not right now. If anything, we need to empower, use societal powers and in ways government powers to, yes, limit propaganda, but also empower people who are fact checkers, who are actually factual and stuff. And so as a society, it is upon us to try and seek those leaders who would do that. But at this point, who knows if it's even, if the genie can be put back in the bottle, as it were. Anyway, Pogo, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for your thoughts on this. And Forrest, kudos on the anarchism.
No, thank you so much. Take care. Right. Did you tell me I need to go post on Threads just now?
You should go post on Threads. Let's go tell MAGA people on Threads to call in. MAGA scared today. Nobody, I guess did. MAGA doesn't feel like they could. Yeah, I'm saying do it again. I
don't want to.
Okay, well, I want calls. Sitting here like, I only got the calls that Jimmy promised, and now we're not getting them, and I don't want more calls.
I'll fuck it. All right, fine. I'll do the
calls
thing.
I promised were fascists. This fucking douchebag using his VPN, still trying to call back in over and over and over again.
Guy's really, really excited.
MAGA, if you think that you can present to us with facts, if you can present to us without defending slavery, like your first ally of the night called in with, you can call in at 336-543-2101, 543-2101, and you can present your case, and we will see if we agree. We will see if it is factual. You have the phone number. A number of you have said you were going to call in, and you have not. Let's see what that's up to. At least 27 of you claimed that you are MAGA and going to call in the poll that's in the live chat. And yet, that phone number, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101, is the number you aren't calling, because I suppose you are afraid. Tell me when you're done, and then you can talk, and then I'll focus on making my thread.
I'm putting something about the first, but we only got one MAGA caller, and he said America was great. Was great.
Because if slavery was so bad, the slaves would have
when we
overthrown
had
it.
Slavery. Because, there we go, I'm just adding that in the middle. We only had one MAGA caller, and he said that America was great when we had slavery because it was the slaves' responsibility to end slavery, not ours. Is this the best y'all have? We'll put that out there. We'll see.
That sounds good. I'm making mine. And then I'm going to go and post it in response to a bunch of these fascists. It is funny. You are the hardest person to get. Lux and I, Javon and I, like, we'll have little things, but for some reason, when you and I tag team it, it is. I
think that's not a compliment. I think it's that I'm too fucking stupid, and that the callers are like, I can't deal with this weirdness today. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is.
That's everybody who engages with you is like, is Forrest stupid? That'll be an easy narrative.
Is he for real? Is he for real? Or is he just actually that odd?
Nobody here. I switched the lights to green to be more welcoming. Maybe they thought those lights back there being pink were
it was scary. It was
too gay.
Scary.
Too gay.
It could be gayer.
336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. We are not interested in ally calls or people who want to open mic, for the record. So we've been dropping most of the people who are doing that.
We have gotten a ton of calls, and we've had to put
there were calls earlier that dropped that besides the stupid one. God, that guy is called so many times.
He really wants to do the Kalam argument. Really bad.
No. I'm talking about now he's switched to there was that one. And then he switched to toilet shit. Shit. Yeah, he just took a dump in my toilet. He was changing his name. He keeps changing his name, thinking we won't know it's him.
Right. Also, to the person, shout out to the person in chat who says Trump is playing 3 dementia chess. Well done.
That is very good. Hey, by the way, you can help us you can participate. Any of you who are on threads, you can go and hit like on those threads. You can hit like on this stream right now. That will put the stream in more people's as they're swiping through the shorts. That'll put there. So you can go ahead and hit like, participate in the live chat, help us get it out, and help us find where these brave MAGA people are. MAGA, where are you? Where are you at?
I will prove that I could be a better president than Donald Trump on this stream. We need another MAGA caller. I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I would be a better president than Donald Trump. I know how to do it.
I can prove that I can box better than a 3-year-old. I guess since we're just saying things that are like almost self-evident.
No, I got this. Jada, I wanted to record a thing about this on TikTok, but never got around to it. So I wanted to do it on this show too. I'm going to prove it right now using nothing but a whiteboard and a marker. Ready? Check this out. I'm going to prove that I'm a better president, or that I could be. Bam. And also, I've never fucked any kids.
What did he do with the clock? What am I missing about the reference with the clock?
Oh, if it's one of the ways to test for dementia is draw a clock properly, and it shows whether your entire brain is functional.
Got it.
And I can draw a clock, and I've never fucked any children.
You missed one digit, though. Pull it off again. Pick it up.
Are you looking for the 7?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
It was supposed to have a 6 and a 7.
The 6 and the 7. Yeah.
I think I've single-handedly ruined that joke for Gen Alpha.
I have also started doing it. It's a lot of fun.
It's ours now.
because I'm 33 and everyone hates it.
We're reverse inheriting your generation. Usually we're supposed to pass things on to you. We're taking it from you. Basically, we're just doing what boomers are doing.
I'm just going to throw in the chat. That's a little gift for everybody. That's an album called An Insatiable High by Masayoshi Takanaka. And it's what's been in my background music this whole time. It's great. So put that on for yourself and enjoy the show the way I am.
Put this in your pipe and smoke it. Luthien, what is with this person who keeps calling in and then are they just trying to get through?
I don't know. They just keep playing the show audio really loud into my ears.
What?
And they aren't answering.
Okay, well, they're probably going to get blocked. I don't understand what they thought that would accomplish because there's a screening room, so you don't get maybe snooze them for a day if it keeps happening. It might be an accident, but I don't get it. All right, well, I'm going to go annoy. Should we read our terrible threads we see?
You said that people don't call in. It's the hardest to get people to call in when I'm on. Shout out to the person in chat who said MAGA won't call in when they can't debate what? MAGA won't call in when there's a competent opponent? Is that what you're saying? So just shitting on everybody else? Is that what it is?
Everyone but Forrest. I've seen your comment section. That's definitely what they think of you.
Yeah, for sure.
MAGA. Opinion though, I'm just gonna read some like dumbass threads while we wait to see if any MAGA people are willing to actually call in. Liberals wanting to ban X proves they cannot handle any criticism. Instead of debating facts, they just cancel any opponents. They truly do not believe in democracy, losers to their core. I don't know. I think the child porn thing is pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's literally the banning X is they massively distributed an AI model that was used to create, they call it CSAM. Child sexually explicit material. No, the A is explicit, doesn't start with an A. Anyway, it's something like that. Literally
sexual assault.
And now the A in CSAM is assault.
Child sexual assault material. Is that not right? Am I wrong?
I don't think so, but I guess it could be abuse, child sexual abuse.
Abuse. What? Neither of us come up with the fucking word abuse. It's a problem because neither of us are fucking pedophiles. I bet Trump could remember what it was.
They won't call in, and I'm this dumb, guys. It should be a slam dunk. Literally, and now here after the fact is still allowing people to. They're like, oh, now you can tell Grok to just change a photo, and all of it is like, show me this girl's feet. Put this girl in a bikini, help me sexualize this person. And because it has stopped doing, initially it was fully explicit shit was going out. Now that it's like limiting it to like lingerie and bikinis, they think that's fucking okay. So yeah. Between the child porn and the let's completely take away people's sense of ownership of their own image, yeah, it's pretty bad. That's a pretty good reason actually too. And before this, I would say nobody's asked to ban it. Like nobody's even really come after banning True Social.
Just make it better.
Imagine being Alex and Roberto on dude. Guess what's right in bio? First thing in bio. Christ is King, John 17. Man of God, Jesus is Lord. Sitting here defending that we should keep a thing up that is still producing child sexual abuse material. Like fucking Christ.
Totally different. We're talking about shitty threads. I have seen so many that are comparing the murder of Renee Good to the murder of Charlie Kirk and saying like, well, you guys didn't go. Why weren't you out here protesting when that happened? Yeah. And like, what kills me is I genuinely don't think that MAGA are smart enough to understand the difference between one crazy bastard killed a man, was immediately arrested, is currently behind bars, and is being tried. Plenty to say about how that trial is going.
Like to go with that woman too, that Ukrainian woman who was killed on the train. Yes, who was
trapped on the bus. Yes. A random person killed somebody, was immediately arrested, and is currently behind bars being tried for their crimes. And then here's this other thing where a federal agent who was trained and on assignment murdered somebody and is currently walking free while the government talks shit about the person that they murdered and spreads a lot. You don't see the difference there? You don't see why people would rise up against the government in one situation and not the other? You don't get that? And what's crazy is I don't think that it's just bad faith arguments. I think they're actually stupid enough to think that those are comparable, that those are the same thing, and that we're just being selective in our outrage. Because I look at the rest of that account, number one, of course it says a Bible verse in the bio, and number two, that's the whole fucking thing. That's the whole fucking thing. It's like, here's Hitler.
That's the whole ball game. I saw it too, people. I almost said it, but he was on the whole thing, so I almost said, like, what does 6'7" have to do with any of this?
It's like, that just is, here's fucking Hitler doing this thing, and you're mad about it, but here's like this random immigrant shoplifted from a grocery store. Why aren't you mad about that? It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what are we doing? Like, what is this?
I'm just going to read threads that if you think you can defend the thread, call in. Obviously, if you're on the right.
That's what turn this show off.
Defend the thread.
Just leave.
Here's one. Tanya Shaw wrote, opinion they'll hate me for. She's just a bot. She's basically just a right-wing bot. She just ejects the same shit, doesn't engage. Opinion they'll hate me for. Being a mother and homemaker is not fascism or oppressive. Literally, it's like it's the whole, like, it's that thing where the boot's on the head and then it's the person holding the boot. No one has said it is. Whether you have the choice to be a homemaker is where fascism and oppression can come in. If you have chosen, truly chosen, not compelled, not indoctrinated, by the way, then yes, it is, be a fucking mother and homemaker. In Trump's America, I don't know that you can afford it, but do it. It's just fucking crazy. It's just crazy. Anyway, transgender show aimed at 7-year-olds. Nope, I'm out. Hashtag Netflix, hashtag gender dysphoria, hashtag protect the children. What the fuck are you even talking about?
I've got one. This is from Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, who is, by the way, my senator here in Oklahoma. And he took the time to crawl out from underneath Trump's desk and wipe his chin to say, ICE agents aren't Disney villains. They're our neighbors, our friends, and our loved ones. These immigration and customs enforcement officers are red-blooded American patriots doing a tough job to keep our nation safe. Assaults against ICE are up 1,300%. I stand with Kristi Noem and DHS. Hashtag news, hashtag politics. You fucking worm of a man.
Yeah,
it's like literally every time if Trump asked him to bark, he would not be able to say how loud because he'd be barking already. Absolutely, there's a term here in Oklahoma. It's not a common phrase here in the city, but it is a phrase: all hat and no cattle. That is what Mark Wayne Mullen is. He's the dude who posted shit about, like, I'll hold the line, I'll bridge the gap. That sounds like a lot of cat. I'll charge into the fire and do the thing, and then also was fucking hiding behind a bench when his fucking party was trying to overthrow the government. It's just like, whatever. Dude is an absolute brainless worm of a man who has never had an opinion that wasn't fucked into him by his God King Donald Trump.
I think this is funny. Someone wrote, banning OnlyFans would have a better impact on protecting children than banning X. Defend against that. OnlyFans requires age verification. Actually, I'm even going to write this. OnlyFans, to be on OnlyFans, now requires age verification, whether or not you are a consumer or you are an adult. Twitter does not, and Twitter literally has porn all over it. So even if you're anti-porn, Twitter, the reason why a lot of OnlyFans models, despite hating Elon Musk, are still on Twitter is because it's one of the only places they can literally post their adult content. But you know what's nice about adult content? That it's adult.
Yep.
That there are adults in it. So you are trying to describe that adults making money off of their body consensually, publishing it in a way that you shouldn't be able to access if you're an adult. And if you aren't an adult and there are ways around it, the parents should be limiting their children's access to that kind of adult stuff. But MAGA fucking loves the government to raise their MAGA doesn't actually want the government out of their children's lives. They just want them to raise their children the way they want, but they do still want the government to do it. MAGA Christians, they don't actually want to raise their kids. They want the government to do it just their way. Literally, Twitter is a Nazi child porn bar.
It is. It is.
OnlyFans is only adults are allowed. Only adults. And you're not allowed to put up images that are not adults. But on Twitter, you can currently ask Grok to do the, they've added more and more to make it harder, since they were just making straight up child porn, and yet people are still figuring out ways around it in the right phrasing to get the image results they want. And
speaking of which, a fun game you can play also, if you ever see some fucking MAGA person commenting about how the liberals are blah 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 and women shouldn't blah 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 and all the thing, if it's a man, just check the replies, and it's always porn bots. They're always just there's a porn bot, some AI generated woman like, I need an older man. Where are you? And they're like, I'm right here, sweetheart. And it's like every single fucking time. It's a lot of fun.
There's a person in chat whining, what's a leftist channel that does lives that doesn't ban, diminish left-wing callers, listening to people diminish a person trying to do better for all, wanting to argue with MAGA people? Whenever you find it, please take everybody there with you who thinks that we gather an audience for debates and then we want leftists that agree with us to call in and go, thank you for all the work you did to get an audience of this size. Now, could I just have it for this period of time? Unless you're whining about our conversation with UJ, which ended more than positive. There was a little misunderstanding at the beginning, but we don't spend time on, this is not an open mic for leftists. If you want to speak to a large audience, you should go and build your own platform and do so. Or, call into one of the right-wing shows and beat them.
This one that just got muted in the chat, I can't even fucking read properly. It's so fucking incoherent, talking about fear of Islam and rape gangs and shit. Call in. It sounds like you don't know what you're talking about either. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but clearly I don't think you do either.
I have my doubts, but we'll see. Luthien, should I be concerned about this one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Billy in Michigan, you are on the line with Jimmy and Forrest. How are you, Billy?
No problem. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great.
How old are you, Billy?
I watched your show the other night. 21.
And then it says you're calling in from Michigan.
Yeah.
Then why are you using the web caller and not the phone number? Why are you using a VPN to look like you're in Canada?
Well, I mean, I just don't like to. I keep my information private. I think
okay. So, but here's the thing, Billy.
So I think that's
no. This is Troll Central, and it's not fair. I'm going to mute you real quick, and I'm going to give you some stuff. You can call back on the phone. We have been doing the show for 6 years. There are 0 complaints that we have ever doxed anybody. In fact, the only reason we take your information is as an anti-troll and safety tactic, but it is not public to anybody else. So you're in Michigan. We literally had a Nazi call in with their phone earlier. They're not getting doxed. We have a record of, I don't actually know how many years we've been doing phone calls, 5, 6, 7 something years. It's crazy now, though. We have a long proven record that we don't dox our callers and that them calling in on their phones in any way jeopardizes their safety. So Billy, despite the fact that I would like to have a call with you, that I would like to talk to a person, you trying to bypass what is here for our safety, what is here for if you do start resorting to threats that we have to give to the FBI or something like that, because of this non-existence threat that we might dox you, when again, we've now are thousands of calls in of not doing that, just isn't sufficient. So Billy, you are welcome to call right back in on the phone. We will expedite you to the front of the list, but we're not going to bypass what is here for our safety because you're worried we will, for the first time ever, dox somebody, especially if you're calling in to defend a god. That's a crazy leap. So Billy, please call back from your phone.
Weird situations.
Cry harder to the person in chat. You guys aren't actually empathetic. Cry harder.
I'm Jesus not empathetic Christ. To fucking Nazis. No, I'm certainly not.
Yep. Let's let's see. I'm going to let, hopefully Luthien can know that if that caller is Billy.
But that
just
said,
put him through.
If you don't think we're empathetic, you are welcome to pick up the phone and call 336-543-2101 and tell us why we should be empathetic to Nazis.
No. He wants us to be empathetic to leftists. He wants us to open up. He wants leftists who aren't us to be allowed to let the views drop while they share how they agree with us or want to argue over biopic issues, which actually we'll often argue over biopic issues. It's the funny thing.
I didn't realize that's what this person was. Yeah, no.
It's the tone. This is the tone police. They want a tone police. They might have been the person who tried to call in tone police.
If they want to do a show, they should start a show. Is all.
It's not hard. Lots of people are doing it these days.
If us can do it, anybody can do it.
We ran so all these TikTokers could fly. And I know the ACA walked, but running's better than
the fact that you fucking harvested me from TikTok is very funny.
Well, I didn't. I think my brother did.
Yeah, I without the whole thing. Fuck.
Jesus Christ, Luthien, what was that call? Why did they bail?
That wasn't a debate call.
Literally after we've been talking about, I think they don't even watch. They're just literally like, oh, the left's on. I think I'm going to go and get my open mic on there. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm going to go pee. You,
oh, don't put it. I was going to, all right. Yeah, all right.
You go ahead and solicit some calls for us. I got to pee bad.
Hey, Jimmy's gone now. So if you want to talk about evolution, this is your chance. 336-543-2101, or use the web link in the description if you're outside of the U.S. And I would love to talk to some creationists. Or if you think that Donald Trump is a good president and you want to talk about why, would love talking about that. If you think we on the left are overusing words like Nazi or fascist, this is your chance. Call in. If you don't think there's a genocide happening in Gaza, this is your chance to go ahead and call in. If you think that God is good and that the Bible is the good book, this is your chance to call in. There's lots and lots of opportunities for you now. If you're out there, if you're one of these right-wing folk who think that the left are too scared to talk, this is the show, yo. This is the time for you to do it. Literally recently, we were sitting here reading our threads and whatnot. I've got a dude on here that I replied to yesterday. I was at an airport and scrolling through threads, as you do. And here's this person, Unite America First, who, of course, bought himself a verified check mark because, why the fuck not? It shows a picture of himself wearing a Trump shirt and hat saying, I'm walking around and not a single liberal is brave enough to say something to me. You better not. Keep it in the comments behind your keyboard. I've shared the show. I shared the show with them, and if that person's watching, this is your chance, as well as anybody else out there. If you think that you've got one over on us, you know what I mean? Fact of the matter is, if you've got a room, and 100 people are in that room. You got 100 people standing around this room. 99 of them are normal, everyday people. One of them is a Nazi, and they don't kick that Nazi out. You got a room full of 100 Nazis, y'all. That's how it works. That's how it works, and that's what our government is right now. You can say, oh, not all Republicans believe that. Not all Republicans are Nazis, but all Republicans apparently are fine with Nazis being in charge. They're still voting for them. They're still supporting them.
They clearly spend a lot of time making sure that they don't lose the Nazi vote. That's the main thing.
Not all Republicans are racist.
I just don't want to disenfranchise them.
Racism isn't a deal breaker. They're fine with the racist being in charge. Not every Republican is sexist or a rapist or a pedophile, and yet they're supporting sexist, racist, rapist pedophiles. They're cool with that. Don't want to lose power. This is worth it. That's the thing. If somebody came out today, if we had a new politician who supported every single ideal of mine, every single initiative that I would see done, every single bit, literally just took all of my brain, put it on paper, and this dude is just 110% my politician, and also was a fucking pedophile, and also was saying some Nazi shit, and also was just anything describe Donald Trump, I wouldn't support the motherfucker. I'd be like, hey, progress is worth more than this. You know what I mean? I can't sacrifice my humanity for even the things that I deeply want I'm not going to let this dude be my face and my voice to try to make the world a better place. And yet, here we are with MAGA, where it's the same thing over and over. He didn't do that. Okay, he did do that, but it didn't mean what you think. Okay, it did mean that, but it's not that serious. Okay, it is that serious, but the left did something bad too. Just over and over. There is no floor. There is no bottom. There is no bar. There is no basis for anything in their morality. It is just Trump said it, so it's good. Trump did it, so it's good. All hail Trump. That's it. That's the whole fucking morality of MAGA. And I would love for somebody to prove me wrong. I just had a steak before this, and it was god-awful.
This is maybe my favorite way to eat. I like it hot, too, but I love a medium rare, though. This is, like, browned up a little. I think it's because the other chunk is thicker and will be more medium rare. I cooked it. I put the thermometer in the thicker one, so this one probably got slightly overcooked, but still good.
Just a cold steak on a fucking, is it a fork or a stick?
On a fork.
You're holding that up on. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fork.
Bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Truly bizarre. Call in to make that stop, because he's going to want to start talking. Yeah, so just like fucking this truly weird situation. We've got some people calling in now.
We'll find out.
Well, we'll see if they make it through the screening room.
There's Billy.
Hey, Billy's calling back in. That's good. We'll take him when he gets through there.
All right, Billy. Now we'll just take him. Hey. Which one we bring him right back in? Billy, you are on with Forrest and Javon. How are you, Billy?
Hey, good.
Oh my God, you're on with Forrest and Jimmy. Sorry, that was a whole mistake.
Did you call me Javon?
Yeah. Billy from Michigan. You're on. No, I called you Javon.
I'm going to tell Javon you called him white.
I'm international, so I live out of Canada and the USA, so I didn't know it was international calling. So I don't watch quite enough to pick that up yet. I'm fairly new to the show, so I do apologize. I didn't know that. I do like to keep my anonymity just because things are really heated. I work in banking, and the wrong political views sometimes can get you in trouble. So I'd rather be able to have an open conversation with you guys and just kind of go back and forth maybe on some of our points without having any kind of risk associated there.
Well, you're on now, and we've already given your number to everyone. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Billy, what's up?
Not much. Is there anything in particular you guys have that you think, I would say I'm a pretty strong conservative. Is there any views that you guys have that right now you're like, man, I would love to talk to somebody who's conservative and who might disagree?
No, just whatever you think you can, from a conservative or a Christian perspective, whatever you think contrasts with our beliefs. Hang on, let me finish. Whatever you have that contrasts with our beliefs that you have the strongest defense of is where I would start.
Okay. I mean, personally, I think Donald Trump's doing a pretty good job right now. So I think we would probably disagree on that. And additionally, I think I'm not sure what your religious views are, but I do definitely believe that in Christianity and that Jesus was real and God is real. So I think
he is doing a good job. He is doing a good job at protecting pedophiles, and he's doing a good job at making America more divisive and more dangerous for everyone. He's doing a good job at terrorizing citizens, especially those who are brown-skinned and have accents. He's doing a good job at rolling back all the civil rights progress we've made over the past couple of decades. He's doing a good job of likening us even further to the Nazis and destroying our reputation on the world stage as someone who actually at least pretends to care about freedom. He's doing a good job of those things.
Okay, so let's discuss some of those points. One of the big things that people are saying is about, the defending of pedophiles and such forth. I agree with you. I think we're on the same page there. I think the Epstein files and all that should all just be released. I don't think there's any argument to that. I don't even think that's a political issue. Because
so why is he obstructing it? What would you say is most likely the reason he obstructed their release?
Very powerful. Okay, can I just have 2 seconds here? I think there's some very powerful people and on both sides of the political aisle. And I don't think this is a Trump issue because Biden could have released those files too. These files have existed for a very long time. So I don't think this is
hang on, let me. Yeah, I want to stick with Billy. you're kind of going on and you're making points, and we're not going to let you make a point and then jump to the next one without addressing it. You've said a bunch of things there. You've said a bunch of things there. There are multiple reasons why it is defensible that the Biden administration didn't. However, I still think they should have, but the Biden administration definitely couldn't have for the first more than 3 years. There was a very short window that the Biden administration did not release them. The basically 8 months leading up to Donald Trump taking office is when the Biden administration potentially could have, though they would have still been in a basically in a phase where there were potentially other investigations that were about to happen, other charges that were about to drop. Potentially, you could say obstructed it. But the thing that you are losing here, Billy, when you say Biden administration, is Donald Trump has already convinced you that the DOJ serves at the pleasure of the president. It's not supposed to. Merrick Garland was independent. Excuse me. I'm going to finish by Merrick Garland is who didn't release the Epstein files, not Joe Biden. Merrick Garland was hostile to the Biden administration in a lot of ways. It's very, very famously leaks. We know that Biden grew to hate him for indicting his son and all those other things that were a result of his time there. So it is Merrick Garland who chose not to. And Merrick Garland, when other things came up, generally would say, I wasn't going to do anything that would look like it was political, because we had the election coming up. Trump was the nominee, and Trump was the nominee by the time the Epstein files could have been released by the DOJ, and they did not release them, most likely because Merrick Garland was against it. However, Billy, I'll hand it to you. Let's just go ahead and say they didn't release it. I don't believe this is true, but I'll give it to you anyway. They didn't release it because Joe Biden wanted to protect people who were in those files because of corruption. Great. Donald Trump is the president now. So will you acknowledge that since he did not have those restrictions, and Pam Bondi clearly is serving at the pleasure of the president, that if he had wanted them out fully, they would be, and that corruption of some kind, either protecting himself or others, is why he is not releasing the files that would expose the biggest pedophile ring this country has ever known?
Yes, we agree on that 100%. We 100% agree on that. I think they should be released.
So do you still support him?
Should be released tomorrow.
So do you still support him?
I do support him because I prefer him as the rather alternative. Now, do I think what he's doing is right on this topic? Absolutely not. And I think that's the beauty of being a voter, is that you can work on a lot of different topics and agree on some things and disagree on others.
So you think that the case here is one of disagreement, that it's okay to support somebody who is actively protecting the largest pedophile scandal anyone's ever fucking heard of here because, hey, at least he's doing something about maybe the economy or whatever?
I don't think that's a fair way to phrase it. I didn't know going in that what was promised and what has happened are two different things, right? So you're promised a lot of things.
Right, he lied.
From any nominee.
He lied,
right? Whether
which he did a lot. He lied about a lot of things to get voted in the first time, and he lied about a lot of things to get voted in this time. He's a liar.
Can we come to the agreement here that this topic in particular might not be so much a political issue as more of a corruption scandal with both sides protecting people on it? Because
no, we can't. Because no, we cannot. Because no, we cannot. Because no, we cannot. Because every single member of Congress, except for one, all unanimously voted to release these files. Literally the largest fucking bipartisan effort I've ever even heard of to release these files. And now it is solely 100% exclusively the fault of Donald Trump that the DOJ is currently in contempt of Congress. They are going against the law. They are breaking the law. And they have not only have they not released the files on time, they have actually gone back and retracted files that they already released because they had Donald Trump in them. So it's not a matter of political corruption. Donald Trump is in those files. He is implicated by those files. Even some of the files that they did accidentally release implicate him as somebody who knew what was going on.
When it got released? If you think they had something on Trump so damning, do you think it wouldn't have got released when Biden had those files? Because I think that's a very
yes, for all the reasons,
and you both know the answer.
For all the reasons,
both know that those files would have been released if they had something on Trump.
For all the reasons that Jimmy just got done explaining, yes, I think that they had something on Trump and also did not release them. And also, as Jimmy just said, even if that wasn't the case, even if they were hiding them in the cells and all these stuff, the fact remains Donald Trump could release them today. And even if you want to believe that he's not implicated by these files, which again, he is, because they already released stuff and then retracted them. You can go back through the DOJ. They have the list of the things they have released. You'll notice there's numbers that are skipped because they released them and then found that it actually said Donald Trump or showed a picture of Trump or whatever. And then they retracted it again. Even if you want to pretend none of that exists, you still have to grapple with the fact that Trump is protecting the other pedophiles in those files. For that reason alone, he deserves to be removed from office.
Billy, first, fix your microphone. Second, to further answer your question from before, sorry that I have a slight thing full of food.
You've got to stop eating that steak right now. It's horrible.
I won't. But I will swallow because I'm a gentleman. All right. Billy, you said if you think if they'd had something on Trump, they wouldn't have released it. No, I don't think that. I know that. And so do you. We already know that things have been released from the committees this year before the Epstein files came out that were in those files that make Trump look bad that didn't come out. And as Forrest just pointed out, they're redacting and retracting things that they are putting out that weren't out prior. So no. Whether or not if you're saying like the only thing would be if they actually have a video of him fucking a kid, would that have not come out? I hope not the video itself, but the knowledge that existed. I hope that would have come out. But to your assertion, if there was something damning in there, it would have come out under Biden. We can literally point to the things that Biden didn't release to prove that you're wrong. The connection between Epstein's recruiting and Mar-a-Lago did not come out until after Biden left office, but was present in those files. And we also know because of DOJ leaks, including from one of the deputy heads, that leading up to this, they have been retracting Donald Trump's name from everything for months. And so as you ask that question, it's within the reality of that Donald Trump is obstructing it, that the Congress, even though Forrest just gave them way more credit than they deserved, obstructed until they knew there was no way to stop the vote anymore. They stopped the vote as long as they could. Then only when their name was going to be next, whether they voted to release the Epstein files or not, did they actually vote to release the Epstein files. But on top of all that, you've already agreed it's corruption. So here's the important question, Billy.
I do agree with that.
Billy.
I think we're on the same page.
Would JD Vance make a good president, and would he be less corrupt with the Epstein files than Trump?
No. But once again, let me emphasize: JD Vance and Trump are not good candidates. Nobody good is ever a candidate.
We're talking about better. Better than Trump. Would JD Vance be better than Trump? Yes.
I think that's a question up for debate because a lot of people hate Trump.
Would he protect pedophiles less?
But I will say he gets.
Would he protect pedophiles less, Billy? We're not going to go the direction you want to go until we're done with my line of questioning. Then you can present whatever point you want. Would he protect pedophiles less? Would he be as strongly protective of pedophiles and the Epstein files as Donald Trump currently is?
I don't think J.D. Vance has really accomplished anything except for being Trump's lapdog.
Jesus fucking Christ. Do you know what question I just asked you, Billy? Can you repeat it back to me?
No. I don't think he would be better than Trump because I think
you think he would do an equal amount of protecting pedophiles?
Yes. I think this is a corruption issue, not a political issue. I think there's so many high.
And so the type of corruption you're okay with. And you said earlier, the whole point here is I would believe you that you care about this if you were seeking justice in the form of the impeachment of Donald Trump, because impeachment doesn't mean that the Democrats get it back. If he gets impeached, Kamala Harris doesn't become president. And then if J.D. Vance continues to be corrupt and protect pedophiles, by the way, Donald Trump should also be impeached for the emoluments clause. It's the most obvious racket ever, the most corrupt, like blatantly, obviously, and openly corrupt administration ever, and you guys are just fine that he's doubled his net worth in this first year in office. But I do digress. No, they have not.
Have that conversation.
Excuse me. Yeah, Billy. Okay, great, Billy. You're going to now listen. Since you had the audacity to say so as every politician, we're now going to talk about the way in which other politicians have gotten richer. In fact, I'll just tell you how Donald Trump did. Great. And I'll just tell you how Donald Trump did it. And you are going to tell me how any other president, by the way, AOC is not rich. This is literally you have fallen for Fox News lies.
I'm going to.
Excuse me, what is...
I'm gonna take a note. Wait, hold on. Wait, Billy, shut the fuck up for a second. I want to make a prediction really quick. I'm just gonna write something down. I'm gonna say AOC, and then I'm gonna make a prediction here.
See, that's the problem.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't have to.
What is AOC's net worth right now? Great. Great. What is AOC? Keep whining. By the way, your mic still sucks. What is AOC's net worth as of right now?
Quick Google search.
Sure, go for it.
We'll tell you that.
Because you called her rich a moment ago.
She's making is $30,000 to $50,000 a year, yet she lives in a $3 million apartment, and it's estimated that she has a net worth of $30 million. That's what the estimation is. So, like,
you just made all of that up. First of all,
Trump was rich before he came in.
My
so
fucking
the incentive
God.
of money doesn't even matter to a guy like that.
All right, so we're going to pause here because he's saying now the incentive of money, and we're just going to go over all the claims Billy just made. A congresswoman makes $174,000 annually. He just claimed what? $50,000 a year?
30 to 50 is what he said, yeah.
Right. They make $174,000 a year. She does not own a $3 million apartment. If we're going to go with the price of the apartment building that a person is in, I've lived in like a $500 million apartment at one point then, because that would have been how much the apartment building, not my apartment, cost. By the way, he said her net worth was what? 30 million?
30 million is what he said, yep.
And that's only off by a factor of 1,000 because her net worth is closer to 30,000. Or no, most recent filings, 2025, early 2025, showed around $25,000. Her current worth is $49,000. Now, he said all presidents do this, and we're going to make some corrections here. Donald Trump started his term with about $3 billion. It's now closer to $7 billion. Donald Trump violated specifically the emoluments clause because there is nothing against the law, nothing against the Constitution of getting book deals. You're not supposed to do it while you're in office, but getting book deals, or once you are done doing speaking engagements, Netflix deals. That's how Obama has gotten a lot richer. I wouldn't say that I like that, but those are the ways that other book deals, speaking fees, that kind of thing is how they get it. Donald Trump has not gotten richer via that route. The number one way Donald Trump has increased his net worth by double is literally Trump coin. Trump coin is a crypto pump and dump scheme. And essentially, he has taken advantage of Americans who have pumped it for him when he talks about it. They've lost their savings as he cashes out. The thing goes down and gets low again. But you know what else he does? Foreign governments, before they meet with him, will pump the coin. In other words, buy a shit ton, increase the value, he cashes out again, and he makes a shit ton of money. There's other things, his Truth Social, which they're about to add a polymarket style thing to. So basically he's going to make worse an already an American gambling problem, but on a massive scale. And he's going to make a shit ton of money. But this guy is saying money doesn't appeal to this guy, despite the fact that people are giving him fucking jets, and he has doubled his net worth specifically using his presidential power, specifically is selling favors or favor. You could use either version to people that when these people are like, hey, we need to meet with Trump, we need a favor out of him, let's go make him several $1 million by pumping his Trump coin. That is the way. And this shows the dishonesty of MAGA. No, nobody ever, and I'm talking pieces of shit like Nixon and Andrew Jackson, and no politician has ever made it this corruptly. There is insider trading. That shit's corrupt. Unfortunately, it's legal. And that shit is corrupt. And I'll happily call Nancy Pelosi and the people who have done that shit corrupt. Nobody has done the direct violation of the Emoluments Clause, selling out Americans and exploiting Americans, because a lot of Americans are losing their ass buying Trump coin, buying Trump NFTs. That is the racket that Donald Trump is doing. There is no comparable do my cult thing and buy my favors. And by the way, at times buy my pardons. He's literally pardoned a ginormous drug trafficker, despite supposedly being against drug trafficking. That is how he has gotten richer. So now, since Billy had the audacity to say all politicians do it and then lie about the net worth of AOC, we'll bring Billy back on and he can defend Donald Trump's money doesn't appeal to him because he's already so rich, despite the fact that he has doubled his net worth. Go for it there, Billy.
Okay. Firstly, I'm glad that you said what you said about Nancy Pelosi and Congress and insider trading, because that's absolutely accurate. That is across the aisle. That's hugely problematic.
Yep, and
both
legal.
Sides. We can agree on
correct.
That.
Problematic and should be made illegal because it's corrupt, but is not technically a violation of the Emoluments Clause and is not predatory on Americans.
You should not be able to be elected into a position for the benefit and well-being of the American people, and then all of a sudden you're making millions of dollars off of the American people inside
or billions.
We agree on that.
Or billions, like Trump.
I agree. Yeah, it probably is billions. Yeah, so we can agree on that.
No, it is billions.
Number two
with Trump.
Okay. Donald Trump, as flawed as he is, and there's not a lot that I don't disagree with. That I think we could have a fair argument in. I think there's certain things I don't like, and I think there's certain things I do like. There's two facts. He won the popular vote, which means clearly people like him. Clearly, that's undisputed. No Republican in years.
Wait. So Biden is also loved? Biden won the popular vote. Hillary won the popular vote.
Ended with the highest disapproval rating of any president ever.
But that wasn't the point you just made. Trump currently has a terrible disapproval rating.
How did 5 million votes just disappear from the 2020 election to the 2024 election? Where did they all go?
Got it. So you're also an election denier. Can you really quick, before we go into now you're in election denialism, despite the fact that Donald Trump's own DOJ declared it the safest election of all time, whether we're talking about 2024, 2020, or rather 2020 or 2016.
I think 24 was safe. That's why you saw a blowout. And I think you're going to see a blowout.
Excuse me, you didn't see a blowout. He literally did not outperform the other elections.
That's undisputed.
He didn't outperform the other elections.
Power of any person on planet
and
Earth.
You already pointed out. All right, since you're going to try to talk over me, we already pointed out that you already pointed out that we have two choices, and you earlier said it was a better choice. He won the popular vote, so people must like him. No, they liked him more than Biden, or his grift worked more than Biden. Most people are thinking about themselves and the affordability. It's why there's a decent chance the Republicans are going to get absolutely wiped the fuck out this midterm around, because you guys aren't addressing the affordability issue. But before we proceed, since you said there was nothing that I said that you need to disagree with, except I guess the conclusions, will you start by apologizing for lying about AOC's net worth and concede that what you said was untrue and therefore the point was as well?
So let's get to the point there that you were just saying, the affordability and how the gas is at the cheapest price it's ever been.
Oops, that wasn't what I said. We can do it here in just a moment. By the way, gas being cheaper is, for the average person, a savings of like what, $10 a month?
I just want to throw out there that we started this conversation by saying it's cool that we don't like that he's a pedophile, but at the end of the day, he's doing some good stuff. And now we're at, somebody might be, ingratiating themselves a little bit with finances the same way that he is, but less so. But it's still bad when they, and also gas is down. That's where we're at right now with the MAGA callers. Just want to be clear, just to get the full picture here. Yes, I know he's protecting pedophiles and probably is one too, but gas prices are low, and I think this person might have more money than they say they do.
So I'll have a question about that affordability here in a minute, but the question to you that you just decided to ignore was, will you apologize for lying about AOC's net worth?
No, I think AOC has a ton of money, and I think she's openly admitted it too.
So you recognize then? Great. Show me where she openly admitted it, because right now the public filings show that she is not worth what you said. So if you're going to stand by your lie, by the way, Billy, you said quick Google search, which is what I did. What did your quick Google search come back with?
Am I muted or can I speak now?
Nope, you're here right now. You're demanding.
Okay.
You demanded that I could just do a quick Google search to prove your assertion. And Billy, the reason why I'm asking this is you thought that number was true and undisputed. You thought when I Googled it, you'd see millions. It was that you never once actually researched this number. You've just heard it from Fox News and the like.
It would take me, I don't even watch those kind of news stations. It would take me 20 minutes of reading stock trails to provide the information to you that you're looking for. Okay?
Yeah, no. It would take you 20 minutes. Excuse me. It would take you 20 minutes to try and make up something that you say is the trail.
Can we agree that politicians falsely record their incomes across the board? Because they do.
No, okay. Sorry, hold on. I just want to point something out. I thought the 30 million number was a bit fucking weird.
Yeah.
So I just did my own quick Google search. It turns out what Billy has fallen for here is apparently a viral bullshit claim that has been going around social media a little while ago, back in, when was this published? In 2022, there was a viral social media post claiming that she had a net worth of 29 million, so almost 30. Somebody probably said 30 is a roundup, and that is whatever the fuck Billy read on whatever True Social, Twitter, whatever he's using. And here is a Reuters fact check of that specific claim from back in 2022 saying no evidence that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has a net worth of 29 million. Here's these bullshit claims. Posts on social media, which they link here, often including a list of supposed assets. Most of these cite their source as this article, which is also fucking fraudulent. And it goes on and on with tons of sources. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Everybody can go read it. This was a viral fucking scam post from 4 years ago. 4 years ago, some fucking MAGA trolls made up a bunch of bullshit, and you fell for it here in the year of our Dark Lord 2026, Billy. That's what just happened.
And again, let's just recap for the audience. Billy is supposed to be defending that it is okay that Donald Trump, or at least as corrupt, that Donald Trump has doubled his billions of dollars doing a Trump coin racket where foreign entities can buy influence off of him, and he has yet to get there at all. That is a clear violation of the Emoluments Clause, that he is clearly corrupt. To continue to hold to the lie that AOC is a multimillionaire, and he could do 20 minutes of stock research to prove it. The only problem being, and we'll unmute and see if Billy's ready to admit, AOC doesn't trade individual stocks. She has a 401k. She literally does not do insider trading at all. It is zero part of her net worth.
I don't think it's a fair assessment for you guys to basically insult me and then cut me off every 2 minutes with a mute.
I don't think it's fair that you literally just lie. I'm going to mute him again because he's upset about it. It's like when people will get mad when I swear, they'll interrupt a bunch and then I'll swear and they'll go, that's so rude. And I'll go, well, I don't think it's ruder than you interrupting, or I don't think it was ruder than whatever. What you are doing here is also not fair, as you're calling it, which is just lying without evidence and then doubling down on the evidence that you would be able to find if you had enough time, even though you had searched it. You said, if I Google it, I'll see your number, because you didn't know that your number is bogus. And now you're doubling down that the evidence is out there. Just Google doesn't get you there. Why didn't Google give me the number you said it would give me?
The reason why Google didn't give you the number okay, is the same reason why if you look up any politician's net worth, it's not going to give you an accurate number.
Then why did you tell me to Google it?
Listen,
why did you say quick Google search?
Something called tax avoidance. It's a strategy that Trump has admitted to and many other politicians have admitted to.
So why did you say do a quick Google search? Excuse me, you're not actually answering the question. Why did you tell me to do a quick Google search to see the number that you said was there?
And we're just a headline reader.
No, that's not what you said. You're now. Excuse me.
Hold the fuck on. First of all, how dare you accuse us of being headline readers when I just showed a whole fucking article debunking the viral Twitter claim that you got your opinion from after you just also said you haven't looked it up. You haven't checked it. It would take you 20 minutes to find the evidence because you didn't fucking check it before. You just believed whatever you saw online and said that she believed it. Also, you just said that Trump admitted to it as well, and you're supporting him. So even if this was true about AOC, you wouldn't care. Trump did it. Well, of course, you do care because Trump did it, and then it's okay. But it's bad when AOC does it, except she didn't actually do it, and you have no evidence of that because you're a headline reader.
And for the most part, Donald Trump doesn't have to rely on insider trading, though he does make sure to cover his the people around him with it. The very silly thing about what you've been saying here, I mean, there are so many, but the silly thing about what you're saying here is your defense is that, well, if you looked into it, no, I asked you about the net worth. I asked you about the net worth, and you said a quick Google search. Then you later changed it to that you, having already done the research, would be able to put together Pepe Sylvia strings on a chalkboard of the $30 million stock trail, ignoring the fact that AOC does not trade stocks. And it's kind of one of those funny things where if what you said was true, it would be easy to find, kind of like you asserted. Why didn't they give it? If Biden had the pedophile stuff, there was actually good reason. But you're saying that it would take this 20 minutes of abstract searching as though somebody wouldn't have already done all of that work and brought it into summary. The only thing you can find, again, a viral video. Billy, you're very clearly the kind of guy who falls for a lot of AI. I'm guessing that you have a lot of AI shorts in your feed where you're like, there's proof that AOC is having sex with Obama. Have you gotten shy? I don't show him as muted.
I'm not muted? Okay. Sorry, I thought I was muted, so I didn't want to speak over you. No, I am trying my best not to interrupt you guys. So let's get back to
what's funny is even Grok, I just did it, even Grok says she is the least wealthy member of Congress. Primary income, $174,000. Even Grok, when you ask, I thought for sure Grok would be like, some people have said there's $30 million, and literally they're saying it is somewhere between $17,000 and $81,000. No, I'm not going to agree to disagree with a conspiracy theorist who thinks, but what if she's?
I don't think I'm wrong.
No, I proved you were wrong. You can say I'm wrong because you're a conspiracy theorist. I can prove you are wrong because the facts and data are on my side. But you think that it is a adequate counter to go, but what if she's doing it in secret? While not defending the thing that's not happening in secret, that Donald Trump is doing a pump and dump meme coin scheme that takes advantage of his cult-like following and gets money pumped in from foreign entities in exchange for more favorable outcomes from meetings with Trump. And apparently you've done all of this research on AOC's supposed stock, but you haven't done research on Trump coin.
Okay, so let's ask some simple questions. Did the Clintons get rich off the American people? Did the Kennedys get rich off the American people? Answer those questions for me.
Nope.
Because I think all of them are corrupt.
Once again, it was already explained to you. We're going to mute you again. It was already explained to you the difference between getting rich for being famous, essentially, and selling out the country for money, which is what Trump is doing. Now, without another whataboutism, please defend what Donald Trump has done to the tune of multi-billions of dollars.
Okay, I'm unmuted here. Once again, as I said, there's a lot of politicians who got rich off the American people. That's indisputable. You don't have to agree with me. Once again, this isn't an argument that I'm going to.
How did Obama do it?
Because I do think he's wrong.
How did Obama get it?
What he did was wrong.
How did Obama get his money?
Netflix deals and all that other stuff. But I didn't bring up Obama. I'm not
okay, how did Biden get rich?
Obama was all that corrupt.
How did Biden get rich?
Jill Biden made a ton of investments, insider trading during his term. They're worth $9 million. Trust me.
Great.
They didn't work
so
for
is
$9
there a
million.
difference? Let's say you're correct. Let's say you're correct. I'm not even going to fact check it. I doubt you are because you've lied about everything so far. But I'm just going to say you're correct. Jill Biden performed insider trading. Let's say you're correct to the tune of $9 million. Is that the same? Is that a violation of the emoluments clause?
I agree that Trump has violated, and we're in agreement there, but you haven't asked. And if you did, I would have agreed. I do
Excuse
agree.
me, I presented that it was a violation of, I presented that it is a violation of the emoluments clause, and you said in response, all politicians do it.
They do.
What is the emoluments clause?
They do.
Do all politicians also fuck kids, or is that just a Donald Trump thing?
I mean, that's pretty outrageous to say.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a crazy
I'm gonna groove here.
There's no proof.
Oh, okay, all right, fine. We're at the end of the show.
Happened.
I thought you wanted to wrap it up.
I never like wrapping up. You know what I mean? So you said that it was. I asked you specifically, is what Jill Biden did a violation of the emoluments clause? And you didn't answer that. You said, I agree that what Trump did was a violation. So now, once again, is what Jill Biden did a violation of the emoluments clause?
No, he gets away with it because insider trading is legal for some reason.
Great. And is there a difference in the amount of corruption as far as whether you are safer as a citizen in doing insider trading, if that is what happened, and selling favor to foreign entities, taking to the tune of billions of dollars, where otherwise the restriction on a gift you can receive from somebody it's like $50. You're not supposed to receive a gift more than $50.
I don't think it hurts the American people. No, I don't think
you don't think it hurts the American people when the Saudi Arabians get a better deal out of the US than one of our existing trade partners. You don't think that hurts the American people just because Donald Trump made millions of dollars off of the pump and dump they did for him?
What better deal did we get? What better deal were we getting from another group of people other than the Saudis? The reason why your oil is cheap right now, you can thank the Saudis.
Nope.
You can thank these people that he's
literally incorrect. Literally incorrect. And again, I love that you guys like to bring up oil. I love that you guys like to bring up oil and gas. Hey, I love that you guys like to bring up oil and gas. What percentage of the amount of people, the amount that people's, what are they called? That you pay premiums. What percentage of the healthcare premiums that people are paying right now that are skyrocketing will be covered by the decrease in the cost of gasoline?
So you're talking about an increase in healthcare premiums, which is completely shifting the topic, which is fine. I'm fine.
No. You shifted. You wanted to bring up this sort of like that we're getting this great deal from the Saudis, and that's what made gas cheaper. It isn't.
Cheaper, and it did.
And the amount that gas has gone down.
Healthcare's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely it does, because we're talking about what's good for the American people. Donald Trump could have been spending his time actually getting us better health care. This plan that he's been saying that he has ready to go since 2016, we're a couple weeks away, and still hasn't released it. He could have been spending his time making health care. Jesus Christ, why is it? This is you guys. It's whataboutism.
Mm-hmm.
Why you guys need a better plan? Yes, because Obama did not go far enough. He should have done a public option, and he should not have succumbed, and he should not have worked with the Republicans to make it more palatable. Of course it was Obama's fault. But you're saying, let's talk about why we needed a better plan. No, let's talk about the fact that he promised he had a better plan for the last 10 years and hasn't released it. Because all you have, Billy, is whataboutism. So if you leave the topic of Trump and what he has not delivered on, again, the call is over. If you try to whatabout one more time, the call is over.
I want to ask
Donald Trump is making life more expensive for Americans. And now we have less runway to solve those problems because he gave a tax cut to billionaires. And the only positive thing you've listed so far in your call is that gas has gotten cheaper. Gasoline, the cost of gasoline, is not bringing down the cost of groceries, is not bringing down the cost of all these things that gasoline is dependent on, because corporations, now deregulated by Donald Trump's first term and continuing into the second term, don't have to. The only ones that have come down were eggs, because they were so expensive, it was actually hurting the companies to be that expensive. And the reason why that one went up had nothing to do with Biden policy. It had to do with bird flu, and Donald Trump isn't why the price of eggs came down. Overall, affordability is skyrocketing, and you guys want to tout that gasoline is cheaper when it does not even cover 1% of how much more expensive your rent is getting, housing in general is getting, utilities are getting. Somehow we're not talking about that. It's state by state, so it kind of varies. But I'm just me and my girlfriend somehow have a $200 a month water bill, and we do not consume water. I literally not consume water out of the tap that much. We take showers. Like, that's the fucking affordability is going down. But you think that the average savings of $10 a month on gasoline somehow makes all of that better. So now defend Donald Trump and don't resort to another whataboutism, or we're done.
Okay, I'm going to have a chance to talk here. So, number one, federal and state issues, completely different issues. So you're having this conversation and you're talking about, oh, well, my rent price. I don't know what state you live in, okay? But go talk to your governor, because that's his issue, not Trump's. It's not Trump's job as a federal employee to fix rent prices in your state. You want to know why rent prices are high in your state? It's because of the tax mandates. It's because of the renting policies, which are all controlled statewide, not federally. So that's number one. So we can have that conversation. That's very simple.
Yep,
number two,
and that's number one. Nope, you're going to stop at number one, since you just made a bunch of lies again. Donald Trump promised to make housing costs come down. And right now we have, 7 million empty available homes in America. So it's not even an availability crisis. I live in Texas, buddy boy. Forrest lives in Oklahoma. The deregulation of those things is the problem, and those regulations should happen at the federal level. And Donald Trump promised to affect affordability there. So once again, everything, this is MAGA. Lie about the net worth of others, lie about the corruption of others, lie about how much other presidents lie. And then when it comes to, oh, by the way, Donald Trump said everybody would be winning, where it's going to happen fast, things are going to become so much more affordable. Well, they haven't. He has failed as a president. But now I'm just going to say it's not his responsibility, and I'm going to lie and say it's not his responsibility. It's beautiful. Now you're unmuted. You can move to number two.
Okay, well, I don't think you really disputed number one, so let's stay on that one. When you bring a ton of people into a country, I mean a ton of people into a country, okay, the supply shortens, which means that the price of things goes up. Now, I think Trump's done a really good job on the immigration side of things.
All right, so I muted him again because he said I didn't address it, and he made his first point. Forrest, he just made an availability point. Did you hear it? And it's okay if you didn't. Did you hear what I said about availability?
I did hear you mention it. I also think it's kind of funny that, like, this thing that there's all these immigrants coming in and that's driving up the cost of the blah, 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 blah. First of all, you did touch on that. And also, like, that's also
just to put a bow on it real quick before you make your point. The first thing I said was there is, and I'm checking what the number is right now. There are millions of homes in the United States. I think I said 7. I'm not sure what the exact number is. Millions of open available homes. There is not a housing shortage. The immigrant housing shortage is a made up thing by Republicans. Yeah. There are millions of actively available open homes right now. So that it just isn't true. Go ahead, Forrest. And by the way, I was
going to say also.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You finish. Finish what you're saying.
I was going to say, it's still, and once again, it is still 100%. I just want to say that Donald Trump isn't responsible for it. I want to say that this is because of all of the people who are here. Donald Trump, who was going to get them all out very, very quickly, hasn't even beaten the deportation records of Biden or Obama. Yeah, it's just, it is very, very silly shit is where we are. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to point out, because he's doing this thing now where it's talking about like, there's all these immigrants, these people coming in. It's falling into the usual MAGA line of everything that has ever been bad is responsible of is the problem of illegal immigrants. I was going to get into that later on anyway, but like, I've got this here. This is from the American Immigration Council, talking about how 40 million immigrants create housing wealth. New research by this America Security Council, America Society / Council of the Americas, and a partnership for the new American economy finds that 40 million immigrants in the United States have created $3.7 trillion in housing wealth, helping stabilize less desirable communities where home prices were declining or otherwise would have declined. And it goes on and on from there. But the fact of the matter is, undocumented immigrants bring in about, $100 billion in federal taxes. They are the ones creating these new markets or industries. They're the ones stabilizing these industries. They're the ones paying into the things that we benefit from. And of course, Billy is just falling into the same tired, worn out trope of immigrant bad because immigrant exist. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I was going to get into, that shit later on, but it was a little bit far afield. It sounds like we're starting to bridge that gap. We'll see.
Yeah, well, just to get for the numbers, since I have them now, 15 million vacant homes. Only for whatever reason, 3.4 million vacant homes that are currently listed as available for rent or sale. So for some reason, we even have, not only do we have many more millions, 3.5 million of them or so are available, and then 12 million just aren't. And that's going to usually be investment related. The housing shortage is a myth. This is a myth perpetuated by Republicans. We have 18 minutes left. I think I'm going to give him the opportunity one more time to tell no lies. Otherwise, I'm going to let you and, God, I don't like either of the other callers either. Mm-hmm. All right, Billy, you're going to go back you're going to retract your thing about the housing shortage, the supply and demand?
Sorry, give me 1 second. So the point of
you clearly walked away. In chat, I was broadcasting. We don't have his full attention, so fuck off.
The person in chat, I just replied in chat also. The person in chat who said that we would get destroyed without the mute button. My next show is over on the line in 18 minutes. Call in. I'm notorious for not muting people. Every time the mute button has been utilized in the show, it's been Jimmy. I'm notorious for letting people go on and on and on. That's your chance.
It's actually really dumb. It's a terrible idea.
No, Jimmy hates it. But like, that's your chance. Also, the person who said that we're fake and that we are creating these callers. I would like Billy to know that we had multiple people in the chat that we had to mute because they were saying that we hired you, that you're a fake caller to pretending to be that bad at debating. But also, there's a lot of folks who say that. I just want to let you know, this is what we got. This is what MAGA is bringing to the table. If you think it's fake, pick up the phone. We had open lines this whole time. That person, we had a million opportunities. I wanted to go over like the foreigner thing is what I was actually going to get to, but it was a bit of a stretch. But Billy brought it there, and I wanted to get into more explaining why Trump is a fucking fascist piece of shit because of I was going to use the whole foreigner thing as the bridge. Also, my prediction.
I just am not going to let. So the big thing when people say you would be destroyed without the mute button, I am more than happy to have a non-mute button debate in an actual form of a debate, but it has to be with people who know how to do things other than fallacies and gish galloping. For example, that last caller, he just, after saying you just read the headline, likes to just say headlines and then try to move to the next one as though we're going to accept it and let it go. So if you're going to try and rapid fire, we are going to give you the substantive reason why you are wrong, even though you only gave a headline of what you think is right.
I also want to throw out there the prediction I made when you were talking about AOC having all this money. My prediction was campaign fraud, because that's the thing that I've been seeing a lot of MAGA people buy into nowadays, is that she's raising all this money and she has all this money. And then what it actually is those are her campaign finances. And they're like, well, then she's taking it. And there's no evidence of that, because you have to fucking like thoroughly report those finances.
Just a reminder to the mods, I don't care if people are shitting on me. And I mean, that guy tried to all caps, but you don't have to be deleting the people who are saying, I wish I was paid and I get paid, guys. I was legit. Thanks for the conversation, Forrest. Jimmy, you really need to mature, man. And look, if Forrest is getting thanked by actual fascists and racists,
shit,
I'm happy to be the other guy.
Yeah, I don't know if that was Billy, because Billy, who says thanks for the conversation with me, all I pointed out was that your president's a fucking pedophile. Yeah. That's all I threw out.
And you're cool with it.
And you're cool with it. It's just what gets me. The same thing when we talked about he's real mad about, you know, all these other politicians who are getting all this money. But yeah, but Trump does it too, though. And so it's fuck it, everybody does it. And it's apparently the same thing when it comes to fucking kids. Well, fuck it, everybody does it. Who among us has not gone to Jeffrey Epstein's island and fucked a bunch of children? Yeah, no, it's just I can't handle that kind of shit.
I'm gonna let John from Canada. I'd never care to talk to you again, so I will let Forrest decide if he wants to take you in the next show. You are a fascist piece of shit, and you calling in to now say you don't believe in evolution. You can go and call the other show. Fuck you in your fucking face. There's no value to you. Thank goodness you are in Canada. You make Canada worse, but at least you're not here to make America also even worse somehow. He's literally, I mean, he is the worst. He was the guy who, if you remember, called in and goes, so what if a single mother of 6 can't afford healthcare, you're okay with your taxes going up? And we said yes, and he goes, but that would be socialism. That's Tommy, or that's
I'm pretty sure in that one he actually literally said, "Why are you guys so interested in helping people?" I think those are shit. Fuck that dude.
Yeah. Not that this guy's got a much better
you're
reputation,
too stupid
but
to understand evolution, John.
We'll
not surprised at all.
We'll see how far. I mean, we've only got 13 minutes for Tommy in Minnesota. Tommy in Minnesota, you're on the line with Jimmy and Forrest. Go ahead, Tommy.
All right. So my whole thing is, so you guys condemn January 6th, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. So what
specifically the part of January 6th where they breached the Capitol building and tried to take prisoner the Congress people.
And also hang the vice president.
Okay. So would you deny that Trump ran on his deporting people?
No, of course he did.
Okay, that's like one of his biggest things ever. So what is the difference between all these people interfering with ICE when that's what the American people voted for? Why are they protesting? Why are they blockading? What's with these No Kings protests when the majority of Americans voted for what Trump ran on?
I want you right now. I want you right now, Tommy, to actually, genuinely, really give me 5 differences between the January 6th insurrection and the No Kings protests or protests against ICE agents. Can you come up with 5 differences?
I want to make this clear. I don't actually defend January 6th. I think it was a bad thing that happened.
Right, but you're asking me why I support one but not the other. I want you right now to try using your own brain and give me 5 differences between those two things.
I don't think there needs to be 5. There can just be 1. I think it's not.
No, I'm not asking
of the election.
I'm asking for 5 differences. What are they? There's plenty of differences. I'm only asking for 5. You don't think that there are any differences at all between the insurrection on January 6th and protesting ICE or No Kings?
I'm not comparing the direct events. I'm comparing the logic behind both of them. They're not accepting. They're both not accepting the results of the American people.
Like so here's the thing. No. Bullshit.
My first clarification already covered
Tommy,
this.
hold on. What I'm asking you here is, do you understand the difference in these two events? Because sure, you can say that and January 6th were both saying we're upset with whatever the government is doing or whatever the people have voted for or whatever you want. You can say the same thing about the fucking Martin Luther King protests. You can say the same thing about protests for women's suffrage. They didn't like what the government was doing. They didn't like the turnout of votes.
Martin Luther King was not the president.
Right.
So no, you can't say the same.
Tommy, When you first asked about January 6th, what clarification did I make?
You'll have to repeat that.
Yeah, because you weren't listening. And had you listened, you would have never made your dumb point. Specifically, the part I am opposed to about January 6th was breaching the Capitol, trying to take Congress people prisoner. At no point have I condemned, except for how dumb it was, any of the rest of the January 6th protests. Those people are dumb. They wasted their time, but anyone who stayed outside where they were legally allowed to be, there is no condemnation.
That's great. Yeah, exactly. I have no problem with them protesting. They can protest whatever the fuck they want. If the whole thing is, well, they're disagreeing with the government and the election, I don't give half a fuck. The difference is, I'll give you some of them. I asked you for 5. Apparently, you're not fucking smart enough to come up with them. I'll give you a couple of them here. They haven't murdered any cops. They haven't been, asking to hang government officials.
Who tried to?
They tried to.
Who tried to?
When the 2 ICE officers were shot.
What ICE officers?
The 2 National Guard. Two National Guard people who were defending.
So
ICE.
even if, Tommy, I accept your narrative there, you have one instance where one person attacked some federal agents that wasn't directly tied to a protest or a group. And then over here, you've got a massive crowd of people chanting, "Hang Mike Pence."
No, you're not understanding what I am trying to equate these.
I don't think you're understanding what you're trying to say.
No, I do 100%. You keep
you made the point after about I'm not arguing the means, I'm arguing the reasoning, even though I started with why the reasoning argument wouldn't matter. And you were talking about what the difference was, and the difference is literally the violence. And you are now literally going off on lone gunmen. Stop. You're literally going off on lone gunmen versus crowd endorse shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, would you argue that the protests in Minneapolis are not lone? They just stormed the hotel where the ICE agents are sleeping at. I live in Minnesota.
Did they storm it, or did they make a lot of noise outside to keep the ICE agents uncomfortable?
You can watch the live stream on YouTube right now. They broke into the hotel.
Okay, great. And and just to be clear, when they broke into that hotel, did they try to hurt any human beings?
They couldn't get to them, but why else are you breaking into the hotel?
I'm just going to make a guess here, considering the fact, because I haven't seen this footage, considering the fact that they have spent the last week banging on pots and drums and honking horns outside to keep them from sleeping and make sure they know that they're unwelcome. I bet if they broke into that hotel, they would do more of the same thing, but inside the hotel. At no point do you have any instances of ICE protesters chanting together, unified, "Kill ICE agents." You do, however, have instances January 6th where they are together saying out loud as a group that they are going to kill members of Congress.
Yeah, already looking at, by the way,
a gallows.
By the way, the people who entered the Capitol were everybody who was there. They literally filled the place to the brim. A few individuals, which were arrested.
It was not a few.
Cited.
It was not a
went
few.
into a hotel during a thing that there was a large crowd around the hotel doing a noise protest. But the entrance of it was not storming like the Capitol building. And again, they are seeing legal repercussions. Donald Trump literally pardoned everybody, including the people who beat up cops.
Well, no, you missed my whole point. I don't think he should have pardoned January 6ers.
Okay, then the whole point is dumb. All you're saying then is, no, I'm not done, Tommy. All you're saying is people elected a certain person to do a job, and then some people protested it. And that's the same as January 6th, because that's essentially what happened there too. No, it isn't.
Well, yeah,
if you're going to bring up, yes, I know, and it's a dumb fucking thing to say. It's a really dumb thing to say, because the reason you would invoke January 6th is not just an example of a protest. It's of a specific protest that went a specific direction. Otherwise, you could go with any great many peaceful protests that no gallows were erected at. But you're specifically going to a deadly one where there was violence. That is the purpose of invoking that one. It's like saying, what's the difference between Jimmy and Hitler? No, I'm talking about facial hair.
They both had facial hair. That's all it is.
You're like, there's no violence. What about the same officer that just shot that woman in Minneapolis, right? He was
murdered,
dragged by a car a week before.
It was not, okay, so once again, these people can't ever tell the truth. It was not a week before. It was months ago. He went through the stuff he needed to and was cleared, shouldn't have been cleared. And by the way, when that happened, he was also violating policy. You are not supposed to throw your body into, he wasn't dragged by a car that ran over him. A car was starting to move away, at which point DHS policy is you get out of the way. To which he partially did right before he murdered her. He did try to get out of the way, but also made sure to murder her. And with the person who was trying to drive off, put himself into the car through the window, trying to grab at keys, trying to grab at steering wheel against DHS policy. The policy is get out of the way. So this repeat offender, he is a repeat offender of violating policy in a way that puts other people's lives in jeopardy. And now for some reason, you're bringing up this guy, the fact that he had recently gotten dragged. No. Who cares? He was breaking policy both times. And if he had PTSD and that's what led to it, he shouldn't have been cleared for duty.
Well, I'm not here to debate the Minneapolis shooting. I'm just bringing up multiple instances of, yes, ICE protesters are using and inciting violence on the officers who were voted in.
And what about
to do their job.
And just to be clear, what about all the times that the officers are inciting violence against the protesters? Does that mean anything to you?
Well, no, I mean, if it's unlawful, yes. It's wrong.
JD Vance said they have total immunity. JD Vance said they had total immunity.
Exist.
They're literally,
which doesn't exist, by the way.
They are literally an occupying force at this point. They have total immunity. We can't do anything. They can just control our lives. You are.
I also want to be clear. You were honest with the first sentence. The first thing you said. You said no, and then you clarified later. For a second there, it's just no. I don't fucking care.
No. They're and by the way, the protesters aren't a bunch of people who voted for Trump, and even the people who did vote for Trump were not anticipating. And lots of them will tell you this. I didn't have any promises of deployment, massive deployment of ICE like this, massive deployment of the National Guard. They had no concept of that. Yeah. They heard Donald Trump say he was going to be a dictator on day one, and then all the right-wing pundits said that was a joke. He was just joshing. So people voted because when I was debating assholes like you, Tommy, you probably were one of them. Before Donald Trump was elected, all you guys would tell me was don't take anything he says at surface value. He just likes to own the libs. Great. Well, that's what your people say. He says a lot of things to own the libs. He's the troller in chief. That's who this guy is. And so some of the things he says is serious when he's talking to his supporters, but then a lot of stuff is just trying to troll the left and they fall for it every time. So you don't get to sit here and go, why are you protesting it when this is what we voted for? We didn't vote for it. Even MAGA people, a lot of them didn't vote for it. In fact, a lot of them who are defending it now also didn't vote for it. They just are going to defend anything he actually does. That's what it actually is. Though. Yes, it is, Tommy.
On the debate with Biden, what?
Yes, it is, Tommy. They're literally trying to keep him in office despite the fact that he is clearly protecting pedophiles and is acting exactly like a person who is also a pedophile.
And also has dementia.
Well, you're diverting the conversation from, I'm saying that you leftists and liberals, I know you're not the same, can't stand on this moral high ground of January 6th.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Because if we're going to go with moral, we've been talking legal so far. If we want to go with moral, ICE and the immigration, all the shit they're doing right now is immoral. So if we just want to go with the moral, arguably a January 6th, I could argue a January 6th level thing pushing back against ICE, if I didn't want to get demonetized and arrested, would actually be morally justified. Legally, it is not.
People have said a lot worse. They're not going to get demonetized and arrested, but no, it's literally it's the same
that'd be really nice.
Concept.
Yeah, we got to go because Forrest has to get to his other show. You can call into that one as you want. It is not the same exact concept, except that they were both quote unquote protests to start. The idea of, again, Hitler and I aren't the same concept because we both have upper lip hair. Trump and Hitler are much closer to the same concept, and Donald Trump can't grow a beard.
That's true.
That alpha male, you guys.
I was going to read. I know I've got to do my other show now, but like, I was just going to read. I've got a list of Trump quotes next to Hitler quotes next to each other, and I was going to go through those and see if the MAGA folks could tell which was which. You know, it's going to be a fun time. We'll see what happens on the next show.
Go over to the other show. Forrest is going there now. You should leave a few seconds before me. You shouldn't wait on me. You should go now.
Bye.
That'll work. Bye. Go over to the other show over on the line. We should have. Dearest, do we have redirect set up?
I'll double check.
Gross. Look at that gross tongue. We'll get redirect set up to be sure. And to the person in chat, what was their name, who said Forrest is a better person than you, whatever. That may very well be, but I'm a better person than you are. Get triggered, bitch. I don't have one testicle. To the person who said Jimmy and Hitler both have one testicle. I do have two testicles. I don't know what that's from. It's not important to me to have two. One would be sufficient. Really, I don't need either except for the testosterone. Okay, we're good to go. All right, well, go to that show then. Bye!